A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Kroger Tender Ray Beef, no other beef so fresh, can be so tender, presents Hearts in Harmony, transcribed. K is for Kroger, C is for cut, B is for beef. KCB means Kroger Cut Beef, and Kroger Cut Beef means more meat for your money. Yes, friends, Kroger Cut Beef gives you more meat, less waste, and here's why. Before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. Remember, that's before the meat is weighed and priced. And at the very top, U.S. government grades of beef that's tender, juicy, rich red, and marbled with just the right amount of flavory fat. So you see, you get a better value in top-grade beef. Now, to give you an example, let's take a Kroger cut rib roast. Before the roast is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes the short rib end, the waist, and trims the chine bone. You don't pay roast price for the short rib end and waist. And no matter whether you buy a Kroger cut steak or roast, you receive more meat, less waste. So don't forget, that's at your Kroger store. See for yourself by visiting your neighborhood Kroger store soon. Make it a rule to buy Kroger cut beef and get more meat for your money. And now, Hearts in Harmony. The strain of recent weeks has eased for Penny Gibbs, and time has lessened the heartache of a broken and seemingly hopeless romance. She's been advised by both her doctor and minister to look to the future, and she's trying to take that advice. Her former fiancé, Johnny Keith, is concerned with the present, however, as he says,
Penny, I know you took Julie to the farm yesterday, and that was fine. Fine for Julie. But, it'll do you a lot of good to try less familiar surroundings this afternoon.
Oh, Johnny, I don't feel much like going anywhere.
Well, you'll like it when you get there. The Johnsons asked you over for this afternoon, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. But I told them I couldn't make it.
Well, you can make it. Now, come on, let's go.
Oh, Johnny, must I?
Mm-hmm, you must. I promised the Johnsons I'd be over this afternoon, and you'd be with me. Now, you don't want me to break a promise, do you?
You had no right to promise that.
Well, I did it for your sake, Penny. You know, sitting around the house isn't good for you. Even yesterday at the farm wasn't enough of a change. You saw the same people and the same things you've been seeing for months. And you haven't seen the Johnsons for a long time, and they're a lot of fun.
Yes, I know all that, but look, Johnny...
Look, there's nothing about buts, Penny. You come on. It's a nice afternoon.
Oh, it is a lovely afternoon, isn't it?
John? And the Johnsons have an outdoor grill in their backyard. We're invited for an open-air supper if you'll stay. It'll be like old times.
Like old times. It'll be like ancient times.
Oh, you're going to be a sourpuss, are you?
No, sir, I'm sorry.
All right, now, come on. The Johnsons will be disappointed.
Oh, Johnny, look, there'll be people there. I
No
don't
one but
want to...
Mr. and Mrs. Johnson and little Martha.
Honestly.
Oh, it's my heart. Now, look, the Johnsons know just how you feel, Penny, and they've promised us a good time. Now, if I can use your phone, I'll call them and tell them we're coming.
All right. I better tell Jed I won't be home for dinner.
Swell. Then I'd better tell Sam Johnson to get those roasting forks out because he's having us for dinner.
Jed! Jed!
Yes, Penny?
Jed, when Nora comes back with the children, tell her not to set a place for me at dinner, will you?
Well, going out for the evening?
Just for dinner. The Johnsons invited me over for the afternoon and a wiener roast a little bit later on.
Uh-huh.
I'll be home early.
Well, glad to see you going out, child. Do your world of good.
Yeah, I guess it will.
Johnny going with you?
Yup. It's more or less of a conspiracy, I think, but I'm a willing victim. I'll try anything to straighten myself out.
You're doing all right, child. Do a few of the things you used to do, get a few of your old friends, and have a few laughs, and, well, you'll see the results yourself.
You've all been very patient with me. I apologize for the way I carried on.
I won't have you apologizing for a thing, child. As for the way you carried on, well, you did what any normal person would have done under the circumstances. Withstood the shock as long as possible and then just collapsed. But I think the worst is over now, child, don't you?
Mm-hmm, think so. I've been listening to some good advice.
You going to be ready pretty soon?
Oh, in just a minute, Johnny. Did you make the call?
Yeah, and Johnson say hurry over.
Okay, I'll be right with you.
You go right ahead, child. We'll talk later when you get back this evening if you want to.
All right, darling. Bye.
Goodbye, child, and have a good time. And say hello to the Johnsons for me, will you? And tell Sam if he thinks he can still play checkers with a champion to come over and get licked on him.
Well, Benny, aren't you glad now we went to the Johnsons?
Oh, yes, I am. It was lots of fun. Never been so full of hot dogs in all my life.
I think you're full. I ate 2 to your 1.
I lost count of how many I ate.
Want me to tell you how many?
No. Then I'll know how many pounds I have to take off.
Oh, my gosh. What's the matter with you women? If you're 1 pound heavier than a feather pillow and 1 inch wider than a toothpick, you think you're fat?
No, I suppose your idea of the perfect figure is the fat lady of the circus.
No, that's carrying it too far.
That's carrying 300 pounds.
Oh.
Oh, and that's what I feel as though I'm carrying after all those hot dogs.
Okay, Fatso. Trim yourself down to the proportions of a beanpole if you want to.
You what?
Nothing. Isn't that Dr. Judson waiting at the bus stop up the street?
Oh, yeah, I think it is.
Well, let's get the guy next.
Yeah, I guess we ought to. We go right by the church.
Yeah, sure. Nice guy, Judson. You know, if I didn't know it, I'd never guess he was a minister.
No, I don't think I would either. Wonder if he's as young as he looks.
I don't think so. He's in his late 30s, I'm sure. Hey there, Dr. Judson.
Calling me?
Good evening, Dr. Judson.
Why, Miss Gibbs, good evening.
Hello.
Surprised to see you. Oh, Mr. Keith, how are you?
Fine, thank you, Doctor. Going our way?
Well, I'm going to the church.
Well, that's our way. Come on, get in, we'll drive you.
You're sure it's not an inconvenience? The bus will be along in a minute.
No, save your dime, Doctor. This bus is free.
Oh, thanks. I'm saving all my dimes these days. That is the few I have.
Oh, don't get in back, Dr. Judson. There's plenty of room up here for all 3 of us in front.
I won't be crowding you.
Oh, with little Skinny here, we could sit 4 in this front seat,
Johnny,
Doctor.
stop.
See how well we fit?
Yes, well, let's first see how well we fit with the door closed.
Hey, all right. See, there's plenty of room.
So there is. Well, how are you feeling these days, Miss Gibbs?
Oh, much better than when you last saw me, Dr. Judson.
I'm glad to hear it. I've been meaning to get up to see you again this week, but I've been awfully busy. I'm trying to raise funds for the Church Welfare Society. And you know what a time-consuming job that can be.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's a thankless job, too, Doctor. You're doing something for a worthy cause, and people duck when they see you coming.
They try to duck, Mr. Keith. I was a track man in my day, and still fast on my feet.
Judson, track man. You know, it seems to me I remember a track star named Judson.
Well, there must have been 2 of us then. I left the Cinders years ago. When you were still in grade school, I imagine.
Oh, I don't know about that. You know, I'm not as young as I act. Doctor, you aren't the West Judson who ran the quarter-mile for Haverly University, are you?
Oh, my past sins are catching up with me. Yes, I am. Well, I'm flattered to know you remember.
Would you 2 talk about something that I can understand?
Sorry. I'm just finding out that Dr. Judson is one of my school day idols.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Keith. But I think Miss Gibbs is right. It isn't fair for us to talk about something in which she has no interest. Besides, I don't like to look back on those days. It reminds me of how old I am. My only diversions are tennis every now and then and a little golf.
Well, I'll join you on the links someday if you'll let me, Doctor.
Oh, I'll be very happy to have you. But we'll have to make it several weeks from now, I'm afraid. This fundraising drive is going to take all my time for a while.
Well, you just say when. I'm a few $1 million short of being a rich man, Doctor, but I'll contribute whatever I can.
Thank you. But I hate to solicit from a man who just saved the church a dime in bus fare.
I think Johnny and I can both add to that contribution, too, Dr. Judson.
Right, thank you. Well, here's where I get off, driver. Does this bus of yours have a bell?
No. In this cart, you can talk to the motorman while the bus is in motion.
Well, it was good seeing you again, both of you. And thanks for the lift.
Well, you're very welcome.
And I'm glad to see you out of the house, Miss Gibbs. You meant what you said about helping yourself, didn't you?
No, I knew I had to help myself, too.
When you said that, you knew that. I knew you'd be well again. Well, good night.
Oh, good night, Doctor.
Good night.
I'll see you about that contribution in the morning. May I phone you?
Why, yes, anytime. Well, good night.
Good
night,
night.
sir.
Well, what do you know about that? Dr. Judson is Wesley Judson, one of the greatest track stars of his time.
I wonder what made him become a minister.
Oh, same thing that makes all of us become what we become. If luck is with us, we're what we want to be.
We all have ambitions and goals, don't we? Wonder if we'd be happier if we didn't. Just let fate lead us wherever it wanted to. Not caring what happened to us or what became of us. Hello, I'm home.
And home early.
Hello, Jed. Where's everybody?
Well, Grace upstairs with the children. Nora and Freddie have gone to a movie. Have a nice time with Johnson's?
Lovely time.
Where's Johnny?
You dropped me off in front. He has some work to do at home tonight. Do you want to see him?
No, it's just as well he didn't come in with you. Here's something for you.
What is it?
It's a letter
Special delivery just came.
Oh, from Barry.
Yes, 'tis. Here, I'll wheel myself in the other room while you
No,
read it.
Jed, don't. Stay here with me.
Well, you want me to.
I want you to.
Is it good news? Or...
I'll read it to you if you don't mind. He says, Penny, my darling, this isn't right. I know it isn't. But my heart's so full of you, I have to tell you so. Telling it, putting it down on paper, may ease the ache inside and satisfy the longing I have for you. To see you and to hold you, to feel you close to me. Oh, Jen, I can't read it.
I want to put the letter aside till later.
No, I want to know what he says, will you?
Will I read it to you? Yeah. Here, give it to me, child.
What does he say? Is he all right?
He says, I didn't think that I could love you more than I did a week or two ago. But, oh, my darling loved one, I find I do. And how much more I'll love you in a year or two, I don't know. For with each hour, the feeling grows inside me, filling me with warmth, comfort, and increasing hope. I know what was going on in your heart and how you must ache with longing for the things I long for, too. Darling, it may be hopeless. There may be no life for us except this way, miserably, conclusively apart. But let's tell ourselves that this is not so. Let's keep our dreams intact and ever renew our hopes. Have faith and keep it.
Oh, Jesus.
I know you are suffering, for I am suffering. But I dare not offer you any greater comfort than this. But may it bring you some sort of peacefulness till that day when you will close your eyes and rest your head in my arms. My deepest love, Barry.
Oh, Jed. Jed, how will I ever stop loving him?
Will Barry's letter bring the comfort to Penny that Barry intended? Or will it destroy the progress Penny has made since her collapse? Be sure to listen to the next dramatic episode of Hearts in Harmony. KCB. KCB. KCB means Kroger cut beef. And Kroger cut beef means more meat for your money. Yes, Kroger cut beef gives you more meat, less waste. That's because before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. You get more meat, less waste in Kroger cut beef. It's top U.S. government grades of beef. Tender, juicy, rich red, and marbled with just the right amount of flavory fat. So visit your neighborhood Kroger store and buy your favorite cut of beef. If you can get a Kroger cut sirloin steak, you'll notice that before the steak is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes the stringy end, the waste, and the excess bone. Remember, whether you buy a steak or a roast, Kroger cut beef gives you more meat for your money. But remember, ladies, you can buy a Kroger cut steak or roast only at Kroger stores. Make up your mind right now to visit your neighborhood Kroger store without delay. Your Kroger meat man has just the cut of beef you want. It's delicious and juicy. It's top-grade beef that will thrill your family. Make it a rule to buy Kroger cut beef and get more meat, less waste, which means you get more meat for your money at your Kroger store. Listen in again Monday, same time, same station, for another exciting transcribed chapter of Hearts in Harmony.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire.
From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, The Girls from Earth by Frank M. Robinson.
Mike McDonald is the name. Firm of Beagle and McDonald, Interplanetary Promotions, number 1 Park Avenue, New York. Drop in sometime. Brand new offices. Had them decorated by one of the biggest guys in the business. You know, it's hard to believe that only 6 months ago, me and Charlie Beagle, my associate, were stranded in a one-tank mining town on Mars. Let me tell you about it.
Here comes the waiter.
Play it cool.
Yeah, but we got no dough.
Play it cool, I said.
Gentlemen?
I'll have the sirloin.
One sirloin. Earth or Martian?
Well, what's the difference?
Well, the Earth sirloin's from genuine steers, $24 a pound. The Martian sirloin's from a domestic sloofer, $2.
Charlie, you ever tasted sloofer? We'll have the domestic.
Very good. A beverage?
Johnny coffee?
We ran out of coffee in 1997. Haven't been able to get any. Try the muggle juice.
Muggle juice?
It's a Martian vegetable. Has a pleasant narcotic effect.
You better make it whiskey. Whiskey?
That we got.
Fine. My friend will have the same.
Yes, sir.
Mike, would you mind telling me how we're going to pay for this sloofer steak?
Relax. I'm thinking.
And even more important, how are we going to get out of this berg?
Charlie, what we need is a mark.
A mark?
A sucker. And if I'm not mistaken, this little guy with the glasses coming in now is just what we're looking for. Pardon me, sir. My friend and I are just in from Earth, and we don't know much about the customs here. I wonder if you'd be good enough to let us buy you dinner and tell us something about the town.
Why, that's very kind of you. You needn't buy me dinner, though. After all, you're the guests here.
Well, that's very nice of you. Do join us.
Thank you. My name is Henry Mortensen. I'm geologist for the Interplanetary Mining Company.
Mike McDonald and my friend Charlie Beagle.
How do you do?
Oh, pleasure.
You say you're just in from Earth?
Yes, that's right. Charlie and I are interested in uranium. Just sort of snooping around to see if there's a decent investment up here.
Oh, I see.
You'll forgive me. It's not much of a town, really.
No, I don't suppose it is. After all, you take 20,000 men and plunk them down in the desert like this, and you can't expect much.
20,000 men.
No tomatoes?
Sir?
Tomatoes. Girls.
Girls. Oh, I'd almost forgotten what the word meant. No, you see, the Colonization Board hasn't been very successful in persuading Earth women to migrate here. There are a few female Saturnians, the four-armed variety, but aside from that...
well, what do the boys do for, relaxation?
Well, being a geologist, I'm naturally interested in rock formations.
For relaxation?
A great many of the men indulge in gambling, and of course there are limp races every glib day.
Glib day?
We have a 9-day week here on Mars.
Oh.
Tell me, Mr. Mortensen.
Henry.
Tell me, Henry, don't the boys get lonesome for the sight of a woman?
Well, it is a problem. The men sign up for 9-year hitches. Most of them have forgotten what a woman looks like.
Mm-hmm. Do most of these men plan to stay here?
I suppose if they had families, they might. The pay is good, and I suspect most of them had their reasons for leaving Earth.
I see. Well, how about yourself? Suppose you found the right woman, which in this case would be just about any woman.
Oh, I'm very particular.
Oh, I mean any woman who met your rigid specifications. Would you stay?
You mean get married?
Yeah, that's the bit.
Well, of course, it's out of the question. No woman has ever showed the slightest interest in me.
Well, suppose one agreed to marry you in advance, and she met all your specifications.
Well, I've always wanted a family. Yes, I suppose I'd marry.
That's very admirable. Very, very admirable.
Here's the waiter with our dinner.
Sloofer steak, gentlemen. Good luck with it.
Henry picked up the tab, and we got a rough idea how much cash these guys on Mars pack around with them. Enough to choke a galactic telescope is about all. We thanked the little guy and sat around until he left. Then I went to work.
Okay, what do we do now?
Charlie. We get to work.
What work? Oh, card game, maybe?
Listen, these guys have been playing cards for 15 years now. We wouldn't have a prayer. I got an idea.
So give.
You still got that Earth magazine, the one with the Hollywood starlet on the cover?
Yeah, in my suitcase.
Good, I want it.
What for?
To make our poster advertisement. That's what's for.
Poster?
Look, Charlie, just picture this. A big poster with that starlet on it, twice as big as life. And underneath, this slogan. I'm coming from Earth to you.
Huh?
Then down in the corner, just this little notice. Applications will be accepted at Beagle and McDonald Agency.
Well, it's great. But what is it?
What is it? Just the most colossal promotion scheme ever devised by man, that's all.
But what are you promoting?
The easiest thing in the world to promote. And the hardest. Marriage.
Marriage?
Look at it this way, Charlie boy. Here on Mars, we have 20,000 strong Earthmen with but a single thought.
Dames.
Exactly. And on Earth, we have 20 million single dames with but a thought.
Husbands.
So?
Oh, how you going to do it?
All right, now we get this poster made. We put it up. We take applications. $100 a head plus the cost of transportation. We get the $100.
Then we leave.
But first we deliver the girl.
Oh, it's a natural.
A natural. Charlie, it's colossal. What's 20,000 times 100?
$2 million.
Wow, that's our profit.
Wait a minute.
What?
How are we going to line up 20,000 girls and convince them to come up to this desert?
I'm working on that. Come on, we got to find a printer to make our poster.
What do we use for dough?
You huck your watch. Come on, let's go. We got the poster made, and it is a beaut. The artist threw in some extra fullness in the lips and stuck a glass of champagne in one hand. The next step was to rent a little field tent right outside the mining camp. We stuck the poster in front of it and waited for the guys to get through work.
Hey, Tom. Hey, dig this. What do you say we sign up?
What for?
Well, whatever they're selling inside.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, come on. What have we got to lose?
You gentlemen interested in matrimony?
Marriage?
That's what we're selling, boys. To her? Or anybody your heart desires. Just step inside, fill out the specification chart, pay your fee, and we deliver.
On the level?
On the level.
Well, what do you say, Tom?
It's worth a gamble. Right this way, gentlemen. Mr. Beagle will take care of you.
No sooner said than done, gentlemen. Step right this way and live.
At the end of the first day, we had deposits amounting to about $15,000. By the third day, we had to beat them off with clubs. Everybody had a dream girl, and we were guaranteeing delivery.
40,000, 50,000, 60,000 bucks. Oh, Mike, what do you say we skip out on the first base free?
What are you, nuts? There's another million coming here, and my name isn't Mike McDonald.
Oh, yeah, incidentally.
Yeah.
Have you figured out a way to deliver on this swindle?
Naturally.
You have?
Of course.
Oh.
We just go down to Earth and put up a different poster. Guaranteed husbands. Every one of them an Adonis.
What happens when they arrive? We get lynched?
Look, while these ladies are en route to Mars, you and me are en route to Earth. Get it?
Yeah.
I radio-phoned a friend of mine down on Earth and had him place an ad in the New York papers the next day, complete with a picture of a handsome Martian uranium miner and a caption that read, "Husbands are waiting on Mars." When the next space liner rolled in, it brought the list of lady applicants from Earth, complete with photographs and background. Here's the first batch, Charlie. Let's look them over.
Yeah, right.
Let's see now. Maybe the next one will be a little better.
How is it?
Let's see the next one.
Lola Carroll, age 29. 29? Whew, she's 40 if she's a day. Occupation, homebody. Background in education, blank. Oh, note from Mitchell. Says she did 4 years at a reformatory for shoplifting, and she's currently on parole.
Let's see this one. Wanda Baker, age 35, occupation gymnastic instructor, State College. Note says she was picked up for loitering and fined on 17 different occasions. Oh, brother.
These ain't exactly the creme de la creme, these ladies.
What'd you expect?
It ain't what I expect, Mike. It's what the boys in the mining camp expect. $100 fee plus $2,500 for transportation. That ain't hay.
Wait a minute. I got an idea.
I'm waiting.
First, we get rid of all these pictures, see? Then we print up a few thousand pictures of movie starlets, and we paste them on the applications. We make a few changes in the statistics, such as age and so on, and we're back in business.
You know, Mike, I used to think you were about as crooked as a one-armed bandit, but I don't think it anymore. I know it.
So we spent the next few nights pasting up pictures and changing age 38 to age 28 and so on. It was easy. Then we called in the applicants from the mining camp and gave each one the dope sheet on his prospective bride.
Hey, Bill. Hey, look at mine. Lola Carroll, age 29. Boy.
Mine's named Wanda Baker. She's 25. Well, you dig this picture? She's almost...
What's wrong?
Mine looks exactly like yours.
What? Let me see.
Take a look at those two pictures.
You're right.
Wait a minute. Hey, Mr. Mortensen.
Yes?
Take a look at this. Both alike.
Most peculiar. Particularly peculiar since, well, mine looks like yours, too.
You put in for a wife?
Why not? Miranda Potts, age 25. A former lady wrestling coach. But the pictures puzzle me.
I think maybe these guys are trying to pull a fast one.
You may be right at that. Come, gentlemen, let's pay a visit to our benefactors, Mr. McDonald and Mr. Beagle.
At the precise moment that Henry Mortensen and his two aggressive companions decided to drop in on myself and Charlie Beagle, we were in the process of tying our money into small bundles and placing it in suitcases, which also contained our clothes and tickets for the next rocket to Earth. It was very embarrassing. Oh, yes, gentlemen?
We would like a word with you, Mr. McDonald.
Well, Mr. Beagle and I are a little busy.
I'm afraid it'll have to wait.
Oh, what seems to be the problem?
Just the three of us have the picture of the same girl clipped to our applications.
Really? Well, let's have a look.
Right here.
Well, what do you know? Charlie, take a look.
Huh?
You imbecile, you didn't check for duplicates. Well, now I think maybe I have an explanation, boys.
Go on.
None of you has been on Earth for some years now, is that right?
That's true.
Well, you know how styles take hold on Earth. One year every woman's curly and blonde. Next year it's straight and brunette. Well, the same thing has happened with cosmetics, makeup, and so on. Now, gentlemen, when I was on Earth last month, every woman in New York was trying to look like a certain movie actress. It got so men couldn't tell their own wives apart.
That isn't very convincing, Mr. McDonald.
Look, boys, obviously there was some mix-up at the Earth Agency. They got the wrong pictures pasted up or something, but I'm sure it'll all straighten itself out. Now, if you don't mind, Mr. Beagle and I have to finish packing.
We mind.
You do?
You do.
Uh-huh. Tom, you take that money in those suitcases and lock them up over at the company office.
Now, boys, just a minute.
That's stealing, boys. It's considered dishonest.
We ain't stealing. We're just keeping the stuff in escrow, you might say.
Till when?
Till the rocket ships get here with the girls. If these dames are as gorgeous as you tell us they are, you'll get every penny of your dough.
Suppose they ain't quite gorgeous.
And you and your friend here are going to suddenly find yourselves unable to carry on as living humans. You fetch my meaning?
I fetch. Well, this caused a small dilemma in me and my partner, Beagle. The problem was easy to state. We had sold these guys on the idea that they were engaged to be wedded to an assortment of lovely, desirable, attractive young girls from Earth. The contingent from Earth, on the other hand, was made up mainly of frustrated, lonely women and a goodly portion of female criminal types. The problem was how to convince these boys that they were not getting cheated. That's enough, Charlie. Now, the problem is how to convince everybody that he ain't getting cheated, right?
Oh, you're a master of summing up a problem. Now how about solving it?
Yes, give me some time.
Look, the rocket fleet from Earth arrives here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. 20,000 very strong miners will be assembled at the rocket port waiting.
True.
So?
Pour me a little more of that muggle juice.
No.
Muggle juice. We could get them all drunk on muggle juice, mass hypnotize them. I'm dreaming.
So what do we do?
I could make a speech, appeal to their better selves, say these poor, unfortunate women need love and affection, something they've never had.
Uh-huh.
How about makeup? Maybe we could hire a cosmetic man to make them up to look like the pictures.
Sure.
Or we could say that it's all a big mistake. We got the wrong shipment.
Or we could kill ourselves.
No need for that, Charlie. That's going to be done for us.
Yeah, that's what I figure.
Well, it's been a short life and a merry one. Drink up, Charlie. For tomorrow we die. The next morning, the miners came in from all parts of the desert to assemble at the spaceport. It was quite a sight. They'd all shaved and spruced up for the occasion, and some of them looked downright handsome. And every one of them had a package wrapped with ribbon for his prospective bride.
Tom! Hey, Tom, over here!
Hi.
Some excitement, huh?
I'm sweating like a schoolboy on his first day.
Why, see, you got a present, too.
Yeah, they were selling some of that cologne water. Hanley's number 4.
Well, I got the same thing.
Boy, this whole planet is going to smell like Hanley's number 4.
Is my tie on straight? It's been 8 years since I tied a tie.
That's pretty good. Boy, everybody is nervous as a cat.
You know, I took a look at myself in the mirror this morning. It was quite an experience. I just stood there looking. And then I said to myself, Bill, you're a slob. You couldn't get a girl on Earth. And if you're lucky, maybe the one who's coming today won't go back on the first ship.
I was thinking the same thing. You suppose they'll be as glamorous as those 2 crooks told us?
You know what? I hope not. I just wouldn't feel right bringing a real cultured, glamorous creature to that tar paper shack over near mine number 6.
I was thinking the same thing.
There's Mortensen. Boy, he looks like he's going to the radiation chamber.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi.
Well, it shouldn't be long now.
We ought to sight the first ship any minute.
Fellow down at number 3 mine was trying to get out of it. He was so sure his girl'd be disappointed.
Well, maybe they won't expect so much. Oh, here he comes! Here he comes!
Attention, all men waiting to receive wives. The Earth-Mars convoy, Operation Big Date, is approaching the landing area. Please stand behind the fire screen until the ships are all landed. And good luck.
During all this, Charlie Beagle and I were more or less under guard back at our office. I say more or less because there were 6 miners with loaded guns sitting practically on top of us. In the distance, we could hear the rockets come blasting in for a landing. And then everything got very quiet. And we knew the girls were coming off the ships.
What do you suppose is happening?
Well, it's pretty quiet, Charlie. I guess the girls are coming off.
Yeah, I don't hear no sounds of rejoicing.
Now, just take it easy.
You suppose they'll hang us or shoot us?
Now, relax.
Relax, he says, but... Oh, here comes a jeep with Uncle Henry and...
Is he alone?
Uh-huh.
Well, so long, Charlie.
Gentlemen?
Now, look, Mr. Mortensen, this can all be explained. There was an error and the wrong girls got shot.
Don't try to explain it, McDonald.
But you can't just kill us without even a trial. I mean, it isn't just.
Who said anything about killing you? We're throwing a banquet tonight, and we want you and Mr. Beagle as guests of honor.
As what?
Guests of honor.
You mean the girls were okay?
Okay, they're lovely. The nicest thing about them, of course, is that they don't expect much. They seem to accept us with all our faults and all the shabbiness and ugliness of the life on Mars. There isn't a one of them who turned up her nose at the place. They seem thankful just to be here.
And the guys, they all feel okay about it?
Okay, they're like a bunch of kids. There isn't a one of them who wasn't scared breathless that he'd have some sophisticated glamour girl on his hands. No, sir. These are down-to-earth women who had it tough on Earth, and they figure to find some happiness here if it's humanly possible.
Yeah, but how did the boys like the way they shape up?
Charlie.
I mean, there might be some that seemed a little older than the applications. You know how clerical errors can be made.
Well, gentlemen, when you've been living on Mars for 15 years without having seen even a single Earth woman, you kind of lose these standards that Hollywood sets for us. As far as I and the other men are concerned, they're gorgeous.
Well, that's the story, which proves you can sell a guy a gold brick that's made out of lead And sometimes you find out the poor sucker likes lead even better than gold. Charlie Beagle and myself made a small fortune on the deal, like I said before. I made a trip back to Mars last month just to satisfy my curiosity. And you know what? I never saw a happier bunch of people in all my life. Hey, by the way, Henry Mortensen and the lady wrestler are having a kid. They're going to call it Mike if it's a boy, and Michelle if it's a girl.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features The Ignoble Savages by Evelyn E. Smith, the story of the Snadra, which had but one choice in its fight to afford to live below ground, to pretend that theirs was an above-board society. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you The Girls from Earth, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Frank M. Robinson and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Mandel Kramer as Mike, Bob Hastings as Charlie, John Gibson as Henry, Jim Stevens as Tom, Dick Hamilton as Bill, and Phil Sterling as the waiter. This is Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production. Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1. Tonight, The Girls from Earth by Frank M. Robinson.
Mike McDonald is the name. Firm of Beagle and McDonald, Interplanetary Promotions, number 1 Park Avenue, New York. Drop in sometime. Brand new offices. Had them decorated by one of the biggest guys in the business. You know, it's hard to believe that only 6 months ago, me and Charlie Beagle, my associate, were stranded in a one-tank mining town on Mars. Let me tell you about it.
Here comes the waiter.
Play it cool.
Yeah, but we got no dough.
Play it cool, I said.
Gentlemen?
I'll have the sirloin.
One sirloin. Earth or Martian?
Well, what's the difference?
Well, the Earth sirloin's from genuine steers, $24 a pound. The Martian sirloin's from a domestic sloofer, $2.
Charlie, you ever tasted sloofer? We'll have the domestic.
Very good. A beverage?
Johnny coffee?
Well, he ran out of coffee in 1997. Haven't been able to get any. Try the muggle juice.
Muggle juice?
It's a Martian vegetable. Has a pleasant narcotic effect.
You better make it whiskey. Whiskey?
That we got.
Fine. My friend will have the same.
Yes, sir.
Mike, would you mind telling me how we're going to pay for this sloofer steak?
Relax. I'm thinking.
And even more important, how are we going to get out of this burg?
Charlie, what we need is a mark.
A mark?
A sucker. And if I'm not mistaken, this little guy with the glasses coming in now is just what we're looking for. Pardon me, sir. My friend and I are just in from Earth, and we don't know much about the customs here. I wonder if you'd be good enough to let us buy you dinner and tell us something about the town.
Why, that's very kind of you. You needn't buy me dinner, though. After all, you're the guests here.
Well, that's very nice of you. Do join us.
Thank you. My name is Henry Mortensen. I'm geologist for the Interplanetary Mining Company.
Mike McDonald and my friend Charlie Beagle.
How do you do?
Oh, pleasure.
You say you're just in from Earth?
Yes, that's right. Charlie and I are interested in uranium. Just sort of snooping around to see if there's a decent investment up here.
Oh, I see.
You'll forgive me. It's not much of a town, really.
No, I don't suppose it is. After all, you take 20,000 men and plunk them down in the desert like this, and you can't expect much.
20,000 men.
No tomatoes?
Sir?
Tomatoes. Girls.
Girls. Oh, I'd almost forgotten what the word meant. No, you see, the colonization board hasn't been very successful in persuading Earth women to migrate here. There are a few female Saturnians, the four-armed variety, but aside from that...
Well, what do the boys do for, relaxation?
Well, being a geologist, I'm naturally interested in rock formations.
For relaxation?
A great many of the men indulge in gambling, and of course there are, as Limp phrases, every glib day.
Glib day?
We have a 9-day week here on Mars.
Oh.
Tell me, Mr. Mortensen.
Henry.
Tell me, Henry, don't the boys get lonesome for the sight of a woman?
Well, it is a problem. The men sign up for 9-year hitches. Most of them have forgotten what a woman looks like.
Mm-hmm. Do most of these men plan to stay here?
I suppose if they had families, they might. The pay is good, and I suspect most of them had their reasons for leaving Earth.
I see. Well, how about yourself? Suppose you found the right woman, which in this case would be just about any woman.
Oh, I'm very particular.
Oh, I mean any woman who met your rigid specifications. Would you stay?
You mean get married?
Yeah, that's the bit.
Well, of course, it's out of the question. No woman has ever showed the slightest interest in me.
Well, suppose one agreed to marry you in advance, and she met all your specifications.
Well, I've always wanted a family. Yes, I suppose I'd marry.
That's very admirable. Very, very admirable.
Here's the waiter with our dinner.
Slew for steak, gentlemen. Good luck with it.
Henry picked up the tab, and we got a rough idea how much cash these guys on Mars pack around with them. Enough to choke a galactic telescope is about all. We thanked the little guy and sat around until he left. Then I went to work.
Okay, what do we do now?
Charlie, we get to work.
What work? Oh, card game, maybe?
Listen, these guys have been playing cards for 15 years now. We wouldn't have a prayer. I got an idea.
So give.
You still got that Earth magazine, the one with the Hollywood starlet on the cover?
Yeah, in my suitcase.
Good, I want it.
What for?
To make our poster advertisement, that's what's for.
Poster?
Look, Charlie, just picture this. A big poster with that starlet on it, twice as big as life. And underneath, this slogan, I'm coming from Earth to you.
Huh?
Then down in the corner, just this little notice. Applications will be accepted at Beagle and McDonald Agency.
Well, it's great. But what is it?
What is it? Just the most colossal promotion scheme ever devised by man, that's all.
But what are you promoting?
The easiest thing in the world to promote. And the hardest. Marriage.
Marriage?
Look at it this way, Charlie boy. Here on Mars, we have 20,000 strong Earthmen with but a single thought.
Dames.
Exactly. And on Earth, we have 20 million single dames with but a thought.
Husbands.
So?
Oh, how you going to do it?
All right, now we get this poster made. We put it up. We take applications. $100 a head plus the cost of transportation. We get the $100.
Then we leave.
But first we deliver the girl.
Oh, it's a natural.
A natural. Charlie, it's colossal. What's 20,000 times 100?
$2 million.
Wow, that's our profit.
Wait a minute.
What?
How are we going to line up 20,000 girls and convince them to come up to this desert?
I'm working on that. Come on, we got to find a printer to make our poster.
What do we use for dough?
You huck your watch. Come on, let's go. We got the poster made, and it is a beaut. The artist threw in some extra fullness in the lips and stuck a glass of champagne in one hand. The next step was to rent a little field tent right outside the mining camp. We stuck the poster in front of it and waited for the guys to get through work.
Hey, Tom. Hey, dig this. What do you say we sign up?
What for?
Well, whatever they're selling inside.
I don't know.
Well, come on. What have we got to lose?
You gentlemen interested in matrimony?
Marriage?
That's what we're selling, boys. To her, or anybody your heart desires. Just step inside, fill out the specification chart, pay your fee, and we deliver.
On the level?
On the level.
Well, what do you say, Tom?
It's worth a gamble. Right this way, gentlemen. Mr. Beagle will take care of you.
No sooner said than done, gentlemen. Step right this way and live.
At the end of the first day, we had deposits amounting to about $15,000. By the third day, we had to beat them off with clubs. Everybody had a dream girl, and we were guaranteeing delivery.
40,000, 50,000, 60,000 bucks. Oh, Mike, what do you say we skip out on the first base free?
What are you, nuts? There's another million coming here, and my name isn't Mike McDonald.
Oh, yeah, incidentally.
Yeah.
Have you figured out a way to deliver on this swindle?
Naturally.
You have?
Of course.
Oh.
We just go down to Earth and put up a different poster. Guaranteed husbands, every one of them an Adonis.
What happens when they arrive? We get lynched?
Look, while these ladies are en route to Mars, you and me are en route to Earth. Get it?
Yes.
I radio-phoned a friend of mine down on Earth and had him place an ad in the New York papers the next day, complete with a picture of a handsome Martian uranium miner and a caption that read, "Husbands are waiting on Mars." When the next space liner rolled in, it brought the list of lady applicants from Earth, complete with photographs and background. Here's the first batch, Charlie. Let's look them over.
Yeah, right.
Let's see now.
Ooh.
Maybe the next one will be a little better.
How is it?
Let's see the next one.
Lola Carroll, age 29. 29? Whew, she's 40 if she's a day. Occupation, homebody. Background in education, blank. Oh, note from Mitchell. Says she did 4 years at a reformatory for shoplifting, and she's currently on parole.
Let's see this one. Wanda Baker, age 35, occupation gymnastic instructor, State College. Note says she was picked up for loitering and fined on 17 different occasions. Oh, brother.
These ain't exactly the creme de la creme, these ladies.
What'd you expect?
It ain't what I expect, Mike. It's what the boys in the mining camp expect. $100 fee plus $2,500 for transportation. That ain't hay.
Wait a minute. I got an idea.
I'm waiting.
First, we get rid of all these pictures, see? Then we print up a few thousand pictures of movie starlets, and we paste them on the applications. We make a few changes in the statistics, such as age and so on, and we're back in business.
You know, Mike, I used to think you were about as crooked as a one-armed bandit, but I don't think it anymore. I know it.
So we spent the next few nights pasting up pictures and changing age 38 to age 28 and so on. It was easy. Then we called in the applicants from the mining camp and gave each one the dope sheet on his prospective bride.
Hey, Bill. Hey, look at mine. Lola Carroll, age 29. Boy.
Mine's named Wanda Baker. She's 25. Well, you dig this picture? She's almost... What's wrong? Mine looks exactly like yours.
What? Let me see.
Take a look at those two pictures.
You're right.
Wait a minute. Hey, Mr. Mortensen.
Yes?
Take a look at this. Both alike.
Most peculiar. Particularly peculiar since, well, mine looks like yours, too.
You put in for a wife?
Why not? Miranda Potts, age 25. A former lady wrestling coach. But the pictures puzzle me.
I think maybe these guys are trying to pull a fast one.
You may be right at that. Come, gentlemen, let's pay a visit to our benefactors, Mr. McDonald and Mr. Beagle.
At the precise moment that Henry Mortensen and his two aggressive companions decided to drop in on myself and Charlie Beagle, we were in the process of tying our money into small bundles and placing it in suitcases, which also contained our clothes and tickets for the next rocket to Earth. It was very embarrassing. Oh, yes, gentlemen?
We would like a word with you, Mr. McDonald.
Well, Mr. Beagle and I are a little busy.
I'm afraid it'll have to wait.
Oh, what seems to be the problem?
Just the three of us have the picture of the same girl clipped to our applications.
Really? Well, let's have a look.
Right here.
Well, what do you know? Charlie, take a look.
Huh?
You imbecile, you didn't check for duplicates. Well, now I think maybe I have an explanation, boys.
Go on.
None of you has been on Earth for some years now, is that right?
That's true.
Well, you know how styles take hold on Earth. One year every woman's curly and blonde. Next year it's straight and brunette. Well, the same thing has happened with cosmetics, makeup, and so on. Now, gentlemen, when I was on Earth last month, every woman in New York was trying to look like a certain movie actress. It got so men couldn't tell their own wives apart.
That isn't very convincing, Mr. McDonald.
Look, boys, obviously there was some mix-up at the Earth Agency. They got the wrong pictures pasted up or something, but I'm sure it'll all straighten itself out. Now, if you don't mind, Mr. Beagle and I have to finish packing.
We mind.
You do?
You do?
Uh-huh. Tom, you take that money in those suitcases and lock them up over the company office.
Now, boys, just a minute.
That's stealing, boys. It's considered dishonest.
We ain't stealing. We're just keeping the stuff in escrow, you might say.
Till when?
Till the rocket ships get here with the girls. If these dames are as gorgeous as you tell us they are, you'll get every penny of your dough.
Suppose they ain't quite gorgeous.
And you and your friend here are going to suddenly find yourselves unable to carry on as living humans. You fetch my meaning?
I fetch. Well, this caused a small dilemma in me and my partner, Beagle. The problem was easy to state. We had sold these guys on the idea that they were engaged to be wedded to an assortment of lovely, desirable, attractive young girls from Earth. The contingent from Earth, on the other hand, was made up mainly of frustrated, lonely women and a goodly portion of female criminal types. The problem was how to convince these boys that they were not getting cheated. That's enough, Charlie. Now, the problem is how to convince everybody that he ain't getting cheated, right?
Oh, you're a master of summing up a problem. Now how about solving it?
Yes, give me some time.
Look, the rocket fleet from Earth arrives here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. 20,000 very strong miners will be assembled at the rocket port waiting.
True.
So?
Pour me a little more of that muggle juice.
No.
Muggle juice. We could get them all drunk on muggle juice, mass hypnotize them. I'm dreaming.
So what do we do?
I could make a speech, appeal to their better selves, say these poor, unfortunate women need love and affection, something they've never had.
Uh-huh.
How about makeup? Maybe we could hire a cosmetic man to make them up to look like the pictures.
Sure.
Or we could say that it's all a big mistake. We got the wrong shipment.
Or we could kill ourselves.
No need for that, Charlie. That's going to be done for us.
Yeah, that's what I figure.
Well, it's been a short life and a merry one. Drink up, Charlie. For tomorrow we die. The next morning, the miners came in from all parts of the desert to assemble at the spaceport. It was quite a sight. They'd all shaved and spruced up for the occasion, and some of them looked downright handsome. And every one of them had a package wrapped with ribbon for his prospective bride.
Tom! Hey, Tom, over here!
Hi.
Some excitement, huh?
I'm sweating like a schoolboy on his first day.
Why, see, you got a present, too.
Yeah, they were selling some of that cologne water. Hanley's number 4.
Well, I got the same thing.
Boy, this whole planet is going to smell like Hanley's number 4.
Is my tie on straight? It's been 8 years since I tied a tie.
That's pretty good. Boy, everybody is nervous as a cat.
You know, I took a look at myself in the mirror this morning. It was quite an experience. I just stood there looking. And then I said to myself, Bill, you're a slob. You couldn't get a girl on Earth. And if you're lucky, maybe the one who's coming today won't go back on the first ship.
I was thinking the same thing. You suppose they'll be as glamorous as those 2 crooks told us?
You know what? I hope not. I just wouldn't feel right bringing a real cultured, glamorous creature to that tar paper shack over near mine number 6.
I was thinking the same thing.
Hey, there's Mortensen. Boy, he looks like he's going to the radiation chamber.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi.
Well, it shouldn't be long now.
We ought to sight the first ship any minute.
Fellow down at number 3 mine was trying to get out of it. He was so sure his girl would be disappointed.
Well, maybe they won't expect so much. Oh, here he comes!
Attention, all men waiting to receive wives.
The Earth-Mars convoy, Operation Big Date, is approaching the landing area. Please stand behind the fire screen until the ships are all landed. And good luck.
During all this, Charlie Beagle and I were more or less under guard back at our office. I say more or less because there were 6 miners with loaded guns sitting practically on top of us. In the distance, we could hear the rockets come blasting in for a landing. And then everything got very quiet. And we knew the girls were coming off the ships.
What do you suppose is happening?
Well, it's pretty quiet, Charlie. I guess the girls are coming off.
Yeah, I don't hear no sounds of rejoicing.
Now, just take it easy.
You suppose they'll hang us or shoot us?
Now, relax.
Relax, he says, but... Oh, here comes a jeep with Uncle Henry in it.
Is he alone?
Uh-huh.
Well, so long, Charlie.
Gentlemen?
Now, look, Mr. Mortensen, this can all be explained. There was an error and the wrong girls got shot.
Don't try to explain it, McDonald.
But you can't just kill us without even a trial. I mean, it isn't just.
Who said anything about killing you? We're throwing a banquet tonight, and we want you and Mr. Beagle as guests of honor.
As what?
Guests of honor.
You mean the girls were okay?
Okay, they're lovely. The nicest thing about them, of course, is that they don't expect much. They seem to accept us with all our faults and all the shabbiness and ugliness of the life on Mars. There isn't a one of them who turned up her nose at the place. They seem thankful just to be here.
And the guys, they all feel okay about it?
Okay, they're like a bunch of kids. There isn't a one of them who wasn't scared breathless that he'd have some sophisticated glamour girl on his hands. No, sir. These are down-to-earth women who had it tough on Earth, and they figure to find some happiness here if it's humanly possible.
Yeah, but how did the boys like the way they shape up?
Charlie.
I mean, there might be some that seemed a little older than the applications. You know how clerical errors can be made.
Well, gentlemen, when you've been living on Mars for 15 years without having seen even a single Earth woman, you kind of lose these standards that Hollywood sets for us. As far as I and the other men are concerned, they're gorgeous.
Well, that's the story, which proves you can sell a guy a gold brick that's made out of lead, and sometimes you find out the poor sucker likes lead even better than gold. Charlie Beagle and myself made a small fortune on the deal, like I said before. I made a trip back to Mars last month just to satisfy my curiosity, and you know what? I never saw a happier bunch of people in all my life. Hey, by the way, Henry Mortensen and the lady wrestler are having a kid. They're going to call it Mike if it's a boy, and Michelle if it's a girl.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features The Ignoble Savages by Evelyn E. Smith, the story of the Snadra, which had but one choice in its fight to afford to live below ground, to pretend that theirs was an above-board society. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you The Girls from Earth, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Frank M. Robinson and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Mandel Kramer as Mike, Bob Hastings as Charlie, John Gibson as Henry, Jim Stevens as Tom, Dick Hamilton as Bill, and Phil Sterling as the waiter. This is Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
At last, the Gregory party have escaped from the magic island of Euclidia. After searching around the world 14 years for her little daughter Joan, Mrs. Gregory found her on the magic island, a weird colony of brilliant though mad scientists. Mrs. Gregory's yacht was captured and held at the island, with Captain Bradford, Jerry Hall, and the crew all prisoners. Then another boat with Johnson, trusted employee of Mrs. Gregory in command, attempted to rescue them, and this boat was also captured. Through the efforts of Jerry and Joan, most of the island machinery was disabled, and the party escaped just after dark. It is only a few minutes since the powerful diesel-motored cruiser swept away from the island, and Mrs. Gregory, Captain Tex Bradford, Jerry Hall, and Joan Gregory talk it over in the radio cabin.
I'm quite all right now, Mother dear.
Now, Joan, your feet are terribly cut up from climbing that concrete chute, and you're dripping wet. Please come into my cabin and put on some dry clothes.
Your mother's right, Joan. Take her in, Pat, and dress those feet a little. Then with some warm, dry clothes on, she can come back here and we'll compare notes.
That's right, Joan. You'd better go in and change your clothes.
Very well, Jerry, if you say so.
See there, Mrs. Gregory? She does just what I tell her.
I can't really blame her for that, Jerry. You and Joan certainly proved you could take care of yourselves when you got us off that mad island. Come, Joan, dear. We'll only be a moment.
Hurry back, Joan. Oh, busted, we can't tell our story pretty soon.
Oh, we will hurry, Jerry.
Gee, Tex, Joan's a swell girl. I wish you could have seen her climbing up that concrete thing we had to crawl through for 50 feet.
Yes, I can see your feet now, kid. And I've got a pretty good idea what it must have been like. We'll just put a little dressing on.
Oh, my feet are all right.
Well, maybe, but they'll be mighty sore tomorrow when the excitement is all over. Now, just sit still and let me fix you up.
Oh, well, all right. Gee, but we sure saw things and did things on that funny island. Why, when we were down there, and ouch!
Thought those feet weren't sore.
Well, maybe they are. Oh, maybe they're a little tender.
Yes, I thought so. Now, I'll have this dressing on in a minute. And that salve will help a lot. Then you get into some dry clothes.
Oh, golly whiskers. I don't need any dry clothes.
Yes, you do. Now, that'll hold those feet for a while. Now, you get over there and put on that old sweater and pair of pants of mine. They may not fit any too well, but they'll be dry anyhow.
Okay, Tex. I guess that would be smart.
I'm going to try and raise Johnson and tell him we're away from the island and free to talk now. From what you and Joan said about conditions on the island, we ought to be safe from any danger of pursuit for several hours.
Well, I'll keep wrapping these pants of yours around me. Maybe I'll find some way to get them tied off so they'll stay up.
All right, son. Now I'll try for Johnson. J24Y. Calling J12C. Captain Bradford on J24Y to Johnson. Hello, Johnson. Hello, J12C. Trying to save my power. Call me if you're getting this signal. J24Y to J12C.
He doesn't answer very fast.
Well, I don't know what kind of set he's got to work with on that boat he's on now. Probably a freighter with a regular radio operator, and he'll call Johnson to the mic when he gets a chance.
Here we are again.
Yes, and do I not look nice in Mother's dress?
Oh, you're a knockout, Joan.
Oh, Jerry, you look so funny.
Oh, they're the captain's pants. You made me put them on.
Oh, they look all right, Jerry.
Yeah, they must.
Don't worry about the looks, Jerry. They're warm and dry, and if you don't have to run very fast, I guess they'll stay on.
Well, golly whisker.
Now, Jerry, do not be angry. You look very nice to me.
And a baby?
Oh, Jerry, how often have I told you that
you are not a baby. Oh, I know.
That sounds natural.
And now that we have a few minutes with nothing to do but wait and see how far our fuel will carry us, suppose we try to straighten out some of the things which happened to us.
Well, Jerry and I can tell our experiences very quickly, but first we would like to hear what happened to you and the captain while we were down inside the island.
Yeah, when Joan and I left the yacht, you were just transferring the stuff to this boat.
Well, we completed the transfer through the holes in the hulls of the two boats and waited on the yacht until it was dark. Then we all went into the radio cabin. It was lined with Euclidean cloth, remember? It was perfectly soundproof.
Yeah, we know that. But how did you get from the yacht to this boat when the time came?
We knew that the Euclideans would have a guard on the pier watching the yacht. And we were afraid they knew that you two were down inside the island. So we tried to make it appear you were on the yacht.
They knew where Jerry and I were most of the time. Though the alarm gong did ring frantically from one level to another as they tried to locate us when we were escaping.
There, Tex, didn't I tell you those bells meant they were chasing Jerry and Joan from one level to another?
Looks like you were right, Pat. Well, we knew we had to get on this boat to make our escape. And so when it was dark, we cut through the floor of the radio cabin and went down into the hold and transferred to the other boat, this boat, through those holes. Then we waited for word from you kids.
Oh, and you took the yacht radio with you down into the hold of this boat, didn't you? And those homing pigeons.
Yes, Jerry. We waited and waited. Then we heard the signal to submerge the island, and two Euclidean guards came aboard the yacht. Fortunately, they didn't look into any cabin or try to speak to anybody. They simply went to the rail and cut the lines which lashed the two boats together.
Gee, that was slick, Tex. And you were ready, listening with the radio hot, when Joan and I sent the message to Johnson from the island radio room.
Right, Jerry.
You and Mother did it all very cleverly, Captain Tex.
We only did the natural thing, dear. In fact, the only thing. We didn't have much choice about our activities. Now, you two tell us what happened to you.
Well, when we left here, we went
down inside.
Hey, wait a minute. One at a time.
Well, thank you, Jerry.
We went down
inside the island and we...
golly whiskers.
I think we'd better referee this thing, Pat.
Looks like it might expedite matters. Suppose you start, Joan.
Yes, Mother. As you know, Jerry and I had 2 of the 300-second ray guns, which I had taken from the commander when gas put the Euclideans in the laboratory to sleep. So we felt reasonably safe. But the problem was how to get down inside the island without exciting suspicion, as we knew the Euclidean guard in the voice control chamber on the surface was hearing everything we said as we walked across the island. But Jerry solved that very nicely.
How was that, Jerry?
Well, I just talked good and loud about the formula you had given me to wake these men up with, and how we had to hurry to the laboratory with it. Of course, the guard heard me, and when Joan asked for the elevator, she got it quick.
That was very quick thinking, Jerry.
Oh, Jerry was very clever, Mother.
Oh, you finally got that straightened out anyway.
Jerry. Well, then we went into the sound channel on the 5th level, where we could talk in privacy. And I showed Jerry the scale model of the island. And from it, we planned our attack on the vital parts of the power and control system.
Say, you two kids work just like a machine. Go on.
But just as Joan and I were ready to leave for the power rooms, one of the Euclidean guards came in. Joan fired her ray gun like she'd shot me, and I fell down. Joan sent for the guard for orders about me, and we got out of there.
And then we climbed down the ladder inside the elevator shaft to the 100-foot level.
50 feet down a dark elevator shaft?
Yes, Mother. We landed safely, however. And by using the ray on a guard, we were able to get into the power rooms and shut off the electricity and flood the power rooms. And as Jerry flooded the rooms, I took out the fuses and threw them in the water.
Great work, kids. But how about this submerging operation they just completed as we got away? How did they do that without power?
I wondered about that, Joan, and you were too busy to tell me.
The island may be submerged to a depth of 40 feet by gravity, aided by reserve emergency tanks of compressed air.
Those Euclideans certainly thought of everything. But how did you get out of the lower level after the rooms were flooded?
Well, that's where we had to climb 50 feet up the inside of a concrete and steel chute. It was like a corkscrew, but almost straight up.
And that is where we hurt our hands and feet so badly. I could never have reached the platform but for Jerry helping me.
Then we just took a chance and used a private elevator from the 5th level to the surface, and it comes up inside the control room. Joan used a ray gun to put another guard to sleep there, and we sent a message to Johnson that you heard.
It was while Jerry and I were climbing up that terrible upright tunnel that you heard most of the signals ringing as they rushed from floor to floor trying to locate us.
Gee, I hated to leave the commander in that laboratory asleep with G-47, those other Euclideans, but Joan figured she would be safe there, and when we came back to take over the island, we could rescue her. She sure did a big thing when she let herself be put to sleep so we could escape.
Yes, you bet she did. And we'll see that she's taken care of one of these days. Just as we'll take care of everybody on that island who wants to lead a decent life in our world.
I think it's only G-47 and a few of his assistants who are really criminals. The rest are merely prisoners, doing the bidding of the scientists.
That is true, Mother. The prisoner we brought from the control room is one of the scientists, however. One of the chief electrical engineers. And he is very dangerous and clever.
Gee, have you got him locked up good, Tex?
Locked up and guarded. The skipper and McLeod will handle him without any trouble.
Well, that is the end of our story, I think, Captain.
No, it isn't, Joan. It's only the beginning. We've got to know a lot about that island before we consider ourselves safely away.
Yes, Joan, dear. For one thing, how long will the island remain submerged and more or less helpless?
That will depend greatly on how long the captain's formula will keep them asleep.
What if help doesn't arrive right away? I mean, what if we're without fuel and have to depend on what little way we can make with our makeshift sail? How much time will we have before the Euclideans will send a submarine or an airplane out after us?
I think not later than daylight, even with most of the scientists asleep.
Can they pump out those lower chambers and raise the island again that soon?
Oh, yes, Captain. If any of the men left active understand it, and they undoubtedly will. You see, they carry enough reserve compressed air to drive the water out and raise the island without any electricity.
Golly whiskers. Then we may not be doing so good after all.
Johnson to J24Y.
Quiet, everybody, now. Hello, Johnson. Bradford, we're safely off the island, but short of fuel. Go ahead.
Running for Los Angeles. Our fuel supply nearly exhausted. Left a lighted buoy on your course. We'll rush other aid as soon as possible. Give further news later. That's all. Hold your set on 6 meters. Better for this receiver. Sorry. That's all.
Gee, he's not much help.
Oh, Mother, what will we do now?
Now, steady, kids, till I work this out. Johnson said 6 meters. He knows this set it weak at 6 meters. Something.
Text. Code. Try every 6th letter. The 6 is with some good reason.
Right, Pat. Every 6th letter. Fuel. Buoy. Other. Farther.
Gee, that means he left a lighted buoy on our course with an oil drum tied to it.
And that other farther means he's leaving lighted oil drums all along our course.
Oh, that Johnson is a wonderful man.
You bet he is. And we'll be a lot of miles from Euclidia at daylight.
The Gregory boat is nearly 50 miles from the Magic Island. It is after 9 o'clock at night, with the warm, sluggish darkness of the subtropics hanging over the water, as the big diesel-motored cruiser plows steadily northward toward the regular steamer lanes and California. The escape from the island was entirely successful, but the Gregory boat is short of fuel, and those on board have no guarantee as to their margin of safety before the Euclidean scientists on the island repair the damage done by Jerry and Joan and set out after the boat. Mrs. Gregory and her daughter Joan are in the radio cabin, listening constantly for a message from Johnson, who is speeding through the South Pacific somewhere ahead of them. Captain Bradford and Jerry are standing in the pilot house on the boat, watching carefully for any sign of light on their course.
How much farther can we go on the oil we got, Tex?
Not very far, kid. I'd say 5 miles to boast.
Gee, are you sure about that code message of Johnson's?
Couldn't miss it, Jerry. Johnson said he'd leave a trail of oil drums with lighted buoys on his course. He wasn't further than this when he dropped the first one according to his message.
Then we ought to see it pretty soon, if it hasn't been carried away off the course.
No, not much danger of that. There's no wind, and I've been setting our course to compensate for what little drift there is.
Just the same, I'm getting kind of worried. We couldn't do any more than hold her on a course with the little breeze we got.
I know it, Jerry, but we'll just have to hang on and see what happens. Then if we do run out and haven't picked up the drum, we'll simply have to radio Johnson and ask him to turn that boat around and come after us.
But his boat's on a scheduled run, and they've lost a lot of time over us already.
Yeah, true, but they'll come back if they have to. Of course, it's better for us if they don't, because Johnson is getting nearer a regular steamer lane all the time. And if he can catch a fast mail boat to Los Angeles, I can get in there and get busy on my formula.
But if we get fuel enough, we can make better time on this boat than anything on the ocean. Why wouldn't it be better for them to wait for us and load us with fuel than let us tear on into Los Angeles?
Well, you see, Jerry, well, I didn't want to alarm Pat and Joan with this, but Johnson's playing smart in more ways than one. He's got a mighty good idea of the sort of thing we've been up against. And he's afraid we'll still get caught and dragged back to that island. And if that happens, he wants to be free to go on into Los Angeles, get that formula compounded, come back to do a real job of wiping out that island.
Oh, gee. Do you think there's any real danger of us getting caught before we get far enough away from the Magic Island?
Yes, Jerry, I do. We saw enough things there to warn us that almost anything is possible where G47 and his men are concerned.
Yeah, I guess that's right, all right. Maybe even Johnson hasn't got as much chance of getting away as he thinks he has.
Why not?
Well, we had the Euclideans thinking Johnson was on board this boat. But in the last hour, we've been sending messages to him. And G47 will know where Johnson is.
No, not exactly, he won't. You notice that Johnson refuses to even tell us what his position is. Though the instruments on the island would register his exact course from the island, I don't think they could even guess how far he may be along that course. They don't know the power of the set he's using.
Oh, golly, Tex, this is the most mixed-up thing I ever heard of.
Captain.
Yes, Skipper, what is it?
Light.
Gee, Tex, a light. Let's go see what it's all about.
Where away, Skipper?
Starboard.
Off the beam?
Aye.
Hey, I don't see anything out there.
Wait a minute now, wait. I do. Yes, that's it. Signal the engine room for half speed. Throw that wheel hard over. That's a lighted buoy on an oil drum we've got to pick up.
Aye.
Hey, Tex, where you going?
Into the cabin. Come on, kid, we'll do a little figuring.
were changing our course, Tex, I heard the engine room telegraph.
Yes, we're circling to pick up the first of the drums of oil Johnson dropped for us.
Oh, you have seen the lighted buoy, then?
Oh, no. The skipper saw it. You know, that old guy may not talk much, but he navigates with his eyes open.
You're right, Jerry. That's why the skipper is so valuable.
Now we've got to do a little scout practice on the chart here and see why that buoy should be so far off our course.
Hey, the motors have stopped. We must be getting ready to pick up that oil drum.
Sounded to me more like we've run out of fuel.
Yes, that's about it. Run out on deck, will you, Jerry, and help McLeod and the skipper haul that drum aboard? You may have to rig up a little canvas, too, to reach it if the fuel's going.
Aye, aye, Cap. Come on, Joan.
Oh, may I, Mother?
Of course, dear. Stop in my cabin and put on a heavy sweater, though. You've had enough exposure.
Oh, but it's warm out on deck, Mother.
You come on and do what your mother says.
Yes, Jerry, of course.
You've got something on your mind. Tex, what is it?
Well, I don't like that running out of fuel, for one thing, and that drum being so far off our course for another. We're not out of the woods yet, Pat.
But Johnson's last message sounded confident enough.
Yes, I know, but... Well, Pat, I wasn't going to tell you.
Yes, Tex?
And I told Jerry not to discuss it in front of you, but things lack a whole lot of being perfect for our getting away safely.
I know there's a certain element of danger, Tex, but after what we've been through on that island...
Exactly, dear. After what we've been through on that island, we don't want any more of it.
You don't think there's much chance of those Euclideans being able to stop us now, do you?
Well, we're only 50 miles from the island. If those chemists wake up while we're within striking distance, or if the remaining guards can manage to get that submerged island drained out and raised, well, they're coming after us.
Then, if you think things are that dangerous, why not send a hurry-up call to Johnson, have that boat put about and run back for us?
Yes, that's what Jerry asked me, but it's no good. Johnson is taking chances on our picking up barely enough fuel from these buoys. And for all we know, he hasn't enough large drums aboard to dump sufficient oil out for us. Yet in spite of all that, he keeps running away from us.
Well, I'm not sure I understand what he's doing, Tex.
I do, perfectly. He knows our danger, and he knows that even if we're caught again, he can go into Los Angeles, have my universal solvent formula compounded, and come back here with enough help to finish that island. While if he came back here now and was caught with us, well...
Yes, I understand.
Sorry, Pat, but it's about the way it looks to me.
Listen.
Sounded like the wind started.
Yes. They must be getting ready to pick up the oil drum.
Guess we had speed enough to carry us around to that buoy. They couldn't have rigged a sail and made it in this time.
Jerry is helping the skipper and Mr. McLeod take a drum of oil aboard, Captain Bradford.
We thought that was what the noise was, Joan.
Yes, dear. But how did we get to it so quickly?
The buoy was not as far off our course as it appeared to be. The light on it was very small and dim. It was actually not more than 100 yards away when the skipper sighted it.
It relieves my mind about more than the oil.
You mean about being off your course?
Yes, at least we know we haven't forgotten how to navigate.
How long will that amount of oil last, Captain?
I can't very well tell you until I see how large the drum is.
Oh, that was stupid of me, wasn't it?
Did you notice the size, dear?
Well, Mother, it was still hidden down in that dark water. I could not see it. And Jerry sent me in here to tell you that we had found it.
No, that's all right, Joan. We'll soon know how large it is.
I will go and find out, Captain.
Don't bother, Joan. Jerry will come in as soon as they get the engine room hatch. As soon as they get it down there. I don't hear the winch. It must be over the hatch. It won't take long. It's going below now. It's landed, and none too gently from the sound.
Well, it must have been a large drum.
I sure hope so.
How rapidly does this boat use up the fuel oil, Captain?
I'm not sure without checking with Mac, but I know one barrel won't take us very far.
Well, we got the barrel of oil in the hole, all right. Mac and the skipper are going to put it into the tank as fast as they can.
How big was it, Jerry?
Well, Mac said it looked like 55 gallons to him.
Oh, that won't take us very far, will it, Tex?
No, not very, but Johnson knows how this boat burns it, and I told him we'd be running wide open. So he should drop those things overboard for us pretty often.
Do you think it will take us long to start the boat again, Captain?
Why, getting nervous, Joan?
Yes, I am. We are so near that awful Euclidia, and they have so many powerful things with which to reach us.
Oh, but most of those guys are asleep. And the ones that aren't are busy trying to raise that island after you and I flooded the lower levels.
You can't be sure how long that gas from your formula will keep them asleep, will you, Tex?
No, that would depend on the quantity of it they mixed up. The size of the room, how soon they were given fresh air. Oh, a lot of things. But it should last for several more hours.
And then there is the possibility of raising the island and using the submarines to chase us. Or even the airplanes. None of the aviation engineers were in the gas-filled chamber. they would all be free to set out after us the moment the surface of the island cleared the water.
Oh, you can all think of the nicest things. Now, why not quit hanging crepe and agree that we're away from the island? That's something. And we've got some more fuel. That's something else. It's not going to help things to sit around here with long faces and feel sorry for ourselves.
You're right, Jerry. But after all, Joan knows all about the island. And 50 miles or 100 miles doesn't guarantee us much safety.
Well, let's quit worrying about it for the time anyway. Any minute now, the motors will start. We'll have their Huskarora anyway to help us out.
Yes, Skipper?
Captain.
Come in, Skipper. Got the oil in the tanks yet?
No.
Why not? Trouble?
Aye.
Serious?
Bad.
Right with you, Skipper. Shove off. You three stay here till I get back.
Yes, Tex, we will.
Gee, I wonder what's up now.
Well, probably they can't get the oil drum open. I've seen that happen time and time before.
But surely there is some way.
Well, if there is, Tex will find it. I know those things can be dangerous, though.
In what way can they be dangerous, Jerry?
Well, there's no telling how much gas there is in one, especially if the oil doesn't fill it tight. And if you're not careful with wrenches and hammers, sometimes a spark will blow one up.
I think Tex has handled several of them. We haven't much to worry about, though our time is awfully precious right now.
It's funny we don't hear them working on it. I'm going to...
Oh, no, Jerry. Stay here. You know the captain said for us to stay here in the cabin.
But golly whiskers.
I think you should stay, Jerry. For some reason, Tex wanted you to, and his reasons are usually very good ones.
Oh, okay, Mrs. Bradford, I'm sorry. But, well, I don't like to just sit here and do nothing. I'm getting the jitters.
I, too, have the jitters, Jerry.
Oh, what was it, Tex?
Couldn't they get the oil drum open?
Captain Bradford, your face, it looks like a thundercloud.
Tex. Oh, shut that door and come in here. Now, tell us quickly, what's the matter?
That oil drum. They got it open all right.
Yes, and then what?
But we'll never run those motors on that oil.
Was it not the right kind of oil, Captain?
It wasn't oil at all. It was turpentine.
Turpentine?
Oh, Tex. Then we can't move.
No, we can't move. And we've gone just as far from that island as we're liable to go.
Now, step into the incredible, amazing future as we go exploring tomorrow. And now, here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, the editor of Astounding Science Fiction magazine, John Campbell, Jr.
The essential character of any frontier you explore is that if you get into it and stick your neck out, you get it lopped off, and there's no help. The frontier is the place where there isn't any reserve, where there isn't anyone to help you if you get into trouble. There is no support. Tonight's story is a story of a true frontier. You know, sometimes the frontier lies just the other side of a doorway. It doesn't seem very different. It can be the difference between life and sudden death. We are in a somewhat different position. We can summon support here. I can push my little push button here and summon our supporters. You know, when we think of that glamorous future, we sometimes tend to forget that things cost money now and things will cost in the future. Let's suppose that there are ships and they are going out between the worlds. They carry emergency supplies for expeditions that may be in trouble on some of the planets that are being explored. But they can't carry an extra lot of them. It costs too much. They carry parachutes, in effect, to drop them as they flash by the world that's in trouble. Little parachutes for space, a plastic bubble with a tiny motor, just enough to lower it down to the planet without destruction. They'd probably use human pilots to do it, too. Because, you know, a human brain is the lightest of all computing devices. It's lighter than an electronic computer. It would be cheaper and wiser to use human pilots to drop these little plastic bubble parachutes of space to a planet in trouble. Let's consider one where there's an expedition that's gotten into medical trouble. The men are sick and they need a serum that they don't have. They've called for help from one of the passing interstellar liners. The liner has stopped for a moment, dropped one of its little space parachutes, and gone on its way, flashing on to some other star somewhere else. And that emergency dispatch ship, that little space parachute, the pilot discovers... Somebody who shouldn't be there is in that supplies closet. The gauge is never wrong. It says there's a living human body inside that closet radiating heat.
Come on out, chum. Open that door, I'll open it. Come on out. Oh, no.
All right. I give up. Now what?
Sit down.
All right. Well, you still haven't told me. I mean, what happens now? Do I pay a fine or something?
What are you doing here?
Well, I just wanted to see my brother, that's all.
Your brother?
Mm-hmm. He's on Woden. He's with Group 2.
Oh.
I haven't seen him for 10 years, ever since he went there.
What's his name?
Cross. Jerry Cross. Do you know him?
Only his name. I've never met him.
Oh, I was only 8 years old when he left.
What was your original destination aboard the Stardust?
Mimir. I had a job to go to.
You knew you were breaking a rule when you stowed away on this ship?
Oh, I knew I was breaking some kind of regulation.
Is that all it means to you?
Well, I'm
There was a sign posted there. Didn't you see it?
A sign?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the one that said unauthorized personnel keep out?
That's the one.
Oh, well, I guess I saw it.
And ignored it.
Oh, come on. Now, look, don't be so grim.
How did you manage to stow away?
Oh, it was easy. I just saw my chance and acted on impulse. I saw there was plenty of room in that closet, and so here I am.
Yeah, here you are.
Oh, please, don't worry. I'll be a model criminal or prisoner or whatever it is I am now. And I'll pay for my keep, too. And when we get to Woden, well, I'll make myself useful.
Quiet.
Sorry.
You have an identification disc?
Yes?
Give it to me.
Well, my name is Marilyn. Marilyn.
Let me have the disc.
Okay. Will I get it back?
No.
Oh, but
I'm sorry, I need the information on it. I have to put it all in my report.
But when you've got all the information, surely I'll get it back. I need it.
Do you know why I'm flying this ship to Woden?
No.
No idea?
Well, I know the Stardust got a message. I suppose you're taking extra equipment.
I'm taking serum.
Oh.
If I don't get that serum to Woden, 6 men are going to die.
My brother, too?
Not if he's with Group 2. He's 28,000 miles away from all this. On the opposite side of the planet.
Opposite side? Well, then how will I get to see him?
You're not going there. I'm sorry.
Look, I don't understand. You are going to Woden.
Yes.
Well, then if...
But you're not. You're going to leave this ship.
You mean I won't get to see Jerry?
I'm afraid not.
Oh, please.
I told you I'm sorry.
Well, what are you going to do, radio some other ship to have me take him back?
There are no other ships to radio.
Well, then...
Don't you understand?
No.
You can't stay aboard this ship.
What am I supposed to do? Jump overboard out into space?
You won't have to jump.
What?
You'll be jettisoned. You won't feel a thing. Sometimes the universe seems cruel. I think that's a mistake. It isn't cruel, but it is ruthless. You must learn the lessons. And once you've learned them, you're all right. Unless you forget them. I'm afraid that girl forgot that there were frontiers. That there were places where there was no help.
You are joking.
These are not things you joke about.
No, you can't mean all this.
There is nothing anyone can do for you.
It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I just can't believe you're really serious. But you are. You do mean that you're going to make me die.
It's the way it has to be.
No.
No human being in the universe can help you.
Please, oh, please.
Nobody wants it this way. Nobody would ever let it be this way if it were humanly possible to change it.
I can't believe it.
I told you, this ship is carrying fever serum to 6 men on Woden. All 6 will die unless I get there.
I know you told me.
A small ship like this one is provided with barely enough fuel to get to its destination. If you stay aboard, your added weight, once we hit gravity, will cause it to use up all its fuel before we land. That means, in simple terms, you and I will die and 6 other men will die waiting for the serum.
Is that it?
That's it.
Just that? We don't have enough fuel?
Yeah.
So I must die alone or take 7 other men with me.
That's how it stacks up.
And nobody really wants me to die.
Nobody does.
Well, maybe... I mean, are you sure nothing...
Nothing can be done for you.
I just can't believe this is real. Less than an hour ago, I was a passenger on the Stardust. Now I'm on this ship, and I'm going to die, and nobody cares.
That's not true. We all care. It's different out here. It's not like being back on Earth.
I'll never see Mom and Daddy again. I'll never see Jared. I'll never see anything again.
Hasn't your brother ever written to you?
Yes.
What did he talk about?
Things? I mean, well, all the things he was doing and how much he wanted to see us all again.
Didn't he ever tell you about frontier law?
What?
Look, out here we live by a different set of values.
I don't know anything about frontier law.
You ignored a warning. Out here you can only make that mistake just once. Oh, a lot of mistakes have been made, and a lot of men have died making them.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know about frontiers. I don't know about fuel or what was going to happen to me. I don't want to die. Why should I have to die? Just because I wanted to see my brother.
What's the use of trying to make her understand? What do I do? Quote the regulation tour, paragraph L, section 8, interstellar regulations, quote, any stowaway discovered aboard an emergency dispatch ship will be immediately upon discovery jettisoned into space, period, end quote. And what good would it do to her anyway? Okay, so H amount of fuel will not power an EDS with a massive M plus X safely to its destination. How could she understand that? Look at her. 18 years old, brown curly hair, blue eyes, weight 110 pounds. And to me, she's just the unwanted factor in a very cold equation.
Crying won't help, will it? I mean, you're going to radio my brother.
If you want me to.
What will you tell him?
Nothing. I'll let you tell him.
Oh. I'm almost afraid to hear his voice. You'll make him sound so near to me. And all the time he'll be so far away. Just a voice. That's all he'll be, just a voice.
I'll call him anyway. All right.
Yes.
Warden, EDS 34G11, emergency. Come in, Woden. Group 2, identify yourselves, please. This is a call for Jerry Cross. Please come in.
Jerry? Jerry, where are you? Jerry, why didn't you answer? Jerry, they're going to let me die.
Keep quiet. They're coming on now. Whatever happens, a man will always try to find some way out, even when he knows it's impossible. He'll still make a try. But sometimes, particularly on the frontiers, you're up against the problem that there isn't any way out. You're up against it.
Wait, I didn't hear.
He said, goodbye, little sister.
Oh. I had so much more to talk about.
He knew that.
Was it really him?
It was your brother.
voice sounded changed.
10 years ago, he was a little more than a boy. Now he's a man. Voice has changed.
Did I sound frightened when I talked to him?
No, you sounded fine.
Oh. How long do I have?
Oh, a little while.
What'll happen to me afterwards, I mean?
Nothing, I guess.
I'll just go on floating in space, is that it?
Something like that.
May I see?
See what?
Out there. Can I see it on the view screen?
Yeah, sure. There.
Well, there's nothing there. There's nothing at all. Well, there's some stars over there. I didn't see them. I was thinking of Mom and Daddy. They don't even know yet I'll never be going back to them, like I promised I would. It's funny, the things you remember. Like the time when I was only 6 years old, and my kitten got run over in the street. And the way Jerry held me in his arms and told me not to cry. And when I woke up in the morning, there she was on my bed, with a brand new white fur coat. Just like Jerry had promised. It was a long time after that when Mama told me Jerry had gone to the pet shop at 4 a.m. He got the man out of bed and told him if he didn't produce a white kitten, somebody's neck was going to be broken. So the man found a white kitten for me.
You'll be gone soon. The little hand on that gauge will go back to zero and the equation will be balanced again.
Is it time yet?
What?
Is it time yet?
Time?
For me.
Almost.
How will it happen?
You'll go into that compartment. It's an airlock, and that's about all.
Oh, no, it can't be all. You'll do something.
I'll simply push a button.
And I'll be shot out into space.
I told you, you won't feel anything.
Yes, you told me that. I'm very grateful.
You're all right?
I keep thinking everybody has to die sooner or later. It's no worse for me than anyone else, is it? Except most people don't know when it's going to happen, and I do.
You understand I have no power to help you. No power anywhere could help you out here.
All right.
If there was just one... But there isn't.
I know. Jerry understood that.
Yeah. Your brother's quite a guy.
He said everything will be all right. It will, won't it?
Everything, yes.
All right, I'm ready. Tell me what to do.
When I pull this lever, that door will open. Just walk into the chamber.
Please hurry up. Do I walk in now?
Yeah.
It's cold in here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It doesn't really matter. Goodbye. You've been awfully kind.
Goodbye, honey.
Please close the door.
Marilyn.
Yes?
There's no hatred, no malice in what I have to do.
I know.
Bye now. EDS 34G11, calling Group 1 on Planet Woden. Come in, please. I'm landing in just 10 minutes.
We have to learn in this world of ours. And some of the things that we learn make us feel that we're real tough and real strong, and boy, we can take it. Next time, we've got a story about a kid who was sure he was tough, a real tough guy. Until he ran up against some people who were in the business of learning things. Sometimes you have to find out such things as whether a man's eyeballs fall out when he's decelerated too suddenly. These men aren't tough. They're just curious.
Join us again next week on both Wednesday and Friday nights when John Campbell returns with more of his fascinating talk and stories while exploring tomorrow. Tonight you heard Mason Adams and Joyce Gordon in our cast. Script was by John Fleming from a story written by Tom Godwin. Produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice. But before we join Superman, listen.
And now to our story. Having returned from a perilous adventure with the lost nation of the Inca Indians, Clark Kent, in reality Superman, has again been enlisted by the government to aid in the all-out battle for freedom. But this time, Kent's assignment is cloaked in secrecy. Only one man knows of his appointment as a special agent in the espionage division of the Secret Service, and that man is Terry White, editor of the Daily Planet. There are sinister forces at work, forces seeking to undermine and destroy the industries vital to the defense of our nation. Like venomous snakes, they strike in the shadowed darkness. A boat sinks at its dock. An explosion wrecks the munitions plant. A deadly fire levels an entire shipyard. And the paid enemies of freedom have struck from within. To wipe them out is Clark Kent's job, but even he has no idea of what is in store for him. Even he is unaware that for once, the amazing powers of Superman are going to be put to a test. Our story begins behind the gray stone walls of the state prison. In a corner of the electrical shop, two men are bent over an electric motor, pretending to repair it. The older of the two is a man Clark Kent exposed and sent to jail, the international criminal known throughout the world as the Yellow Mask. Momentarily, his steel-gray eyes shift to the armed prison guard standing at the door. Motioning his companion closer, the Yellow Mask speaks.
2 minutes to go. You sure everything's ready?
Yeah.
Where's the gun?
In my shirt.
Let me have it. Be careful. Keep your back to the guard.
Here it is.
Okay.
The guard's coming over.
Do something, you fool. Pick up the screwdriver.
Well, how about it, you guys? Ain't that motor fixed yet?
It will be in a couple of minutes.
All right, stop gabbing now and finish it.
We will in a couple of minutes.
I sure thought he had the finger on it.
I'll do all the thinking. You just follow orders.
Why did you have to keep repeating about the couple of minutes? I got the shakes listening to you.
I always tell the truth. Everything will be finished in a couple of minutes, including the guard. Keep working that screwdriver.
Okay.
And if he comes again, try not to shake.
You're a cool one. You got ice water for blood.
No, I've got brains. I knew once this war started, they'd look for me. Hella's no fool.
That the guy got the gun through?
Hella?
Yeah.
Hardly. He wouldn't risk his precious neck. Not Hella. He's too smart.
Who is this guy, Hella?
You'll find out, I hope. Now, that's enough talk. 30 seconds to go. You remember what you to do?
Yeah, you start the motor. And I yell like I caught my hand in the flywheel.
Make it look good. We've got to get the guard over so I can let him have it.
Thought you said no shooting.
There won't be unless I can't help it. You'll get the gun butt. 10 seconds. Get ready.
Okay.
5 seconds. Make it good.
Yeah, I will.
All right, here it goes. I'm turning it on.
Hey, what's going on here?
He's hurt. He caught his hand on the flywheel.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, and so will you be.
Quiet, everyone.
Keep those machines running and block the door. I'm making a break. How about it? Quiet! I'm sorry, but it wasn't planned that way. Get that acetylene torch, Rusty.
Okay.
Work on the window bars. Hurry. Why can't we break with you? I said I'm sorry. None of us would stand a chance. Stand back. Don't make a sound.
Open up in there.
How's it coming, Rusty?
Okay. Only 3 more. Open up or we'll drill the lock.
Get down, all of you that may be shooting.
She's wide open. All the bars are burned through.
Good.
This is your last chance. We've got machine guns. We're going to let you have it and let you open up.
All right, Rusty. Step back from the window.
What do you mean? I'm going with you.
Sorry, Rusty, I'm not carrying baggage.
Hey, wait a minute.
You heard what I said. Step back from the window. Can't be alarm bell. I'll have to be going. So long, Rusty.
You dirty, low-down, sneaking rat, you!
Official, tri-state alarm. Order 33B. Check all roads, terminals, and stations for man known as Yellow Mask. Escaped from state prison 4:22 p.m. Age 48. Height 5 feet 7 inches. Weight 150 pounds. Iron gray hair. Gray eyes. Small scar on upper lip. Armed with revolver. Dangerous. I will repeat. Official, tri-state alarm. Order 33B. Check all roads, terminals, and stations for man known as Yellow Mask.
This is Don Carey bringing you the latest up-to-the-minute news. As darkness falls over the eastern seaboard, the greatest manhunt in the history of the police department is taking place. 3 hours ago, the international criminal, known throughout the world as the Yellow Mask, made a daring escape from the state prison. Thus far, his whereabouts are unknown, but the police of 5 states have laid a giant dragnet and expect to announce his recapture shortly.
Hexley! What Hexley? Yellow Mask escaped police! Hexley! Hexley! Let's get you here! Yellow Mask escaped!
Come in, Kent. Close the door. Any news?
Not a thing, Mr. White. Seems to have vanished into thin air. I just spoke to the warden. The car that was waiting for him outside the prison carried phony license plates.
You'd imagine we didn't have enough to worry about. And now this has to happen. The Yellow Mask floating around loose. You remember how he almost blew up the Daily Planet building?
How could I forget?
He's a smart potato, Kent. Smart and ruthless. When they sent him up, he swore he'd get you someday. Maybe I'd better call the commissioner and arrange for a police escort until they nab him.
No, that's not necessary, Mr. White. I can take care of myself. And anyway, if he does get through the dragnet, he'll have to lay low for a long time.
There's no telling with that bird. He's bad business. Do they know how he got the gun?
Oh, yes, I forgot that. It was smuggled into one of the other prisoners, a life-termer named Rusty Wallace. The Mask was supposed to take Wallace with him, but at the last moment he changed his mind. Wallace claims a man named Heller sent the gun.
Heller? Who's Heller?
No, the police aren't sure yet. They're checking. There's a Max Heller listed in the FBI files as a foreign agent. He was deported 2 years ago for alien activities, and there's no record of his having returned to the country.
Foreign agent, eh?
Well, if it's the same Heller.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised, Kent. Espionage should be right up the Yellow Mask's alley. Can you imagine what damage a man like that could do with his twisted mind?
Well, I wouldn't worry too much, Mr. White. The police will get him.
He'd be tough if he has outside help. Weeks can go by before they can catch up with him. And that's time enough to do a lot of damage. Right here in Metropolis alone, there are 3 munition plants, 2 airplane factories, and a dozen other vital defense industries. He's got to be tracked down, Kent. There's no telling where he'll strike first. I'll take it. Very White speaking. Huh? Oh, just a minute. See you, Kent.
Oh, thanks. Hello.
Greetings, Mr. Kent.
Who is this?
Don't you recognize my dulcet voice?
Well, I'm sorry, I don't.
That's a pity. Possibly it's changed since you last heard it. Think hard, Mr. Kent.
Who is this?
Don't lose your temper, Mr. Kent. It doesn't pay. You're a little dull tonight, aren't you?
Now, look here. If you think
Just
I got...
a minute, Mr. Kent. I'm going to tell you who I am. Brace yourself.
Steady. Yellow thread, the yellow mask. Are you still with me, Mr. Kent? Or was the shot too much?
I'm still with you. But where are you, Mask?
Wouldn't you like to know, Mr. Kent? You and the police.
Well, you hardly expect to get away with that prison break, Mask. That's asking a little too much.
It's 10 o'clock, Mr. Kent. I've gotten away with it for 6 hours. But that's not what I call. I want you to know that I haven't forgotten. I owe a little debt to you and Miss Lane and Mr. White. I'm going to pay that debt. It'll be one of the first things I do.
More being faced, Mr. White.
Are you listening, Mr. Kent?
I'm listening.
Good. In a few moments, the Daily Planet building will go dark. The lights will go out, the presses will stop, and something very interesting will happen. It's a little surprise I've been planning for you, Mr. Kent. A pleasant little surprise. I hope you like it. Goodbye.
No. Did you trace it yet, Mr. White?
No, not yet. Operator, for the love of... Huh? Oh, yes, okay. Thanks. He called from Metropolis 4800. We better notify the police. They can check the number and...
Wait a minute. What was that number?
Metropolis 4800.
Are you sure, Mr. White?
What do you mean, am I sure? Do you think I'm deaf?
But Metropolis 4800 is our number, the number of the Daily Planet.
What? Great Scott. Kent, what does that mean?
It means he called from somewhere in this building.
No, Kent, that couldn't be. It couldn't be.
Take it easy, Mr. White. I'm afraid that's what it is. He's somewhere in the Daily Planet building.
What? Then we've got him trapped. I'll have every door locked. Call the police. Kent, Hey, what's happened to the lights? Kent, who turned the lights out?
The yellow mask. Come on, we're in trouble.
With a police of 5 states searching for him, the Yellow Mask, seeking vengeance, is hidden somewhere in the darkness of the Daily Planet building. What will his next move be? Can Kent, even as Superman, track him down? Don't miss a single thrilling episode of this adventure. Be with us again when Max Heller, foreign agent, and the Yellow Mask join hands in an attempt to wreck American defense. Tune in and listen with Superman.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice. But before we join Superman, listen.
And now to our story. When the Yellow Mask, notorious international criminal, escaped from prison, Clark Kent and editor Perry White knew there'd be trouble, for it was Kent who had put the mask behind bars. But neither of them fully realized the extent of their danger until a telephone call revealed that the mask had eluded the police and was hidden somewhere in the Daily Planet building seeking revenge. Suddenly, the lights went out, the presses stopped, and the huge 30-story skyscraper was thrown into confused darkness. Leaving White's office, Kent raced down the hall to the elevators. In a moment, his street clothes gave way to the flaming red cape and blue costume of Superman. Ripping open one of the elevator doors, he was about to dive down the shaft when he noticed a car trapped some 10 floors below. A moment's hesitation, and then he reached for the steel cable.
Only one way to clear this shaft so I can get down to the basement where that main switch was thrown, and that's to lift the car above this floor. Here goes. Now, these elevator cars must weigh 10 tons. Coming slowly but surely. Somebody's going to be surprised when they see all this steel cable twisted up on the floor. Just a few feet more to go. There. That does it. Now I can crawl under the car. First, I better tie this cable to something so she doesn't drop. Oh, wait, I won't have to. The safety lock's holding it. That saves time. Now to crawl under. And down. There. Now, there must be a door leading out of the bottom of this shaft. Yes, here it is. In time to force the lock, I'll have to break through it. Now, let's see where we are. I don't know my way around this basement as well as I should. Wait. Strange odor down here. Great Scott, it's gas. Now I know what the mask meant when he said he had a surprise for us. He opened the valve on the gas main. If someone comes down here and strikes a match, this whole building will blow up. Got to find that valve somehow. It's getting stronger. There must be somewhere near the gas main. Good thing my lungs can take this stuff. What's that? Someone's trapped down here, suffocating. Where are you? Speak up. I'm coming. All right, I'll get you out of this. There we are. Just a minute, we'll get some fresh air into your lungs. Now, let's see. That door should lead to an alley. Ah, it does. There we are. That's better, isn't it? That's it. Breathe deeply. You're the night watchman, aren't you?
There was nothing behind when I came to.
Now, just take it easy. Take it easy. Sit here for a while. I'm going back to find the open valve.
Two men in the furnace room. What? Get them out. Gas reaches the oil. Where is it?
Got to turn it off first. Where is the gas main?
Can't miss it. The red pipe overhead.
Red pipe?
Follow it. You'll see a valve.
All right. What's that?
Explosion. Furnace room.
You stay here. I'll be back. Said there were two men in the furnace room. The boilers blew up. I'm afraid I'm too late. Oh, I can see flames. Burning oil. Oh, room's an inferno. Those flames spread. This building is doomed. I've got to get those men out first. Ah, there they are, on the floor. Their clothes are on fire. Here goes. Oh, heat is terrific. Even I can feel it. I got them. Now to get out through that wall of fire. Ah, they're badly burned, but still alive. I'll take them out to the watchman. He can call an ambulance while I look for that valve. There.
Got them out, eh? Are they dead?
No, but they need medical attention. Get an ambulance or a doctor right away. I've got to shut off that gas.
Don't go in there again. I'll blow up the minute.
I'll be all right.
Mister, you're crazy. You can blow up sky hay.
Red pipe overhead. See now. Yes, there it is. Now he said to follow it. Follow it. Valve must be near the furnace room. Another gas pocket went up. Wait. I hear hissing. That must be the valve. It is. Gas is pouring out. Must turn this way to the right. Yes. Got it. There. It's off. Now to try and put out that blaze in the furnace room. Uh-oh. Sounds like fire engines. They'll be able to take care of this with a few small extinguishers. Now I've got to find Perry White.
As Kent returns to the editorial offices of the Daily Planet, a strange scene is taking place in the sumptuous penthouse of a fashionable apartment building overlooking the city. The yellow mask, no longer garbed in drab prison clothes, stands at a window peering through high-powered night binoculars trained on the illuminated clock of the Daily Planet Tower. Behind him, seated in a chair, is a middle-aged man with close-cropped, sandy-colored hair, thin lips, and greenish eyes with pupils like shoe buttons. He frowns impatiently, flicks the ashes of his cigarette into a silver tray, and then speaks.
You're wasting your time staring out of that window, Mynheer. Why do you bother with such inconsequential things?
Have you never heard of revenge, Heller?
I should like you to remember that I risked everything to effect your release from prison. It was not done so you could waste your time and energies with unimportant people. You agreed to devote all your efforts to the cause. Is that not true?
For some reason or other, my pretty little scheme to blow the planet building sky high in this fire. It's still there. Well, some other time. Now, what were you saying, Heller?
Simply that I will require your undivided attention. I did not risk everything so that you might revenge yourself on a stupid newspaperman.
He's far from stupid. You don't know Kent.
What was that name?
Kent. Clark Kent.
The name has a familiar ring. Wait. Strauss.
Ja.
Bring to me the latest file of American operatives.
Ja, gefunden.
You haven't missed a trick, have you?
Communicating phones, filing systems, every modern convenience.
We cannot afford, as you say, to miss a trick. There is too much at stake. Thank you, Strauss. Now let us see. Here's a list of newly appointed Secret Service operatives.
How did you get it?
There are ways and means to get everything. All that it requires is time, money, and brains. The course possesses all three. Here, let me read this list of names. Anderson, Adams, Black, Darrow, Frost, Houston, Long, McGuire. No, the name Kent is not here.
Well, what makes you think he has anything to do with the Secret Service? He's a newspaper reporter.
I seem to remember it, and my memory never fails me. Oh, wait, here's a special notation. I knew I was right. Listen. Appointed as operative at large under sealed orders, Clark Kent.
When was the appointment made?
Let me see. Here it is. 4 days ago. He has not long been on the job.
We'd better watch him, Heller. He's dangerous.
Don't worry. They are all watched. They're all dangerous. But now let us discuss business. You know, of course, why we require your services.
Yes. You think I'm valuable.
That and more. We are aware of the existence in this country of an amazing invention. A steel Frankenstein. A robot made of metal known as the Mechanical Man.
This is all news to me. You seem to forget I've been behind bars for 2 years.
No matter. This Mechanical Man exists. We have seen it. We have offered a fabulous sum. Not only for the model, but for the design. Our offers have been refused. We must have the steel monster and many like him.
Why?
I shall tell you why. Because it is our job to instill fear. Out of fear will come panic. And out of panic will come weakness. That is the formula of our success.
This Mechanical Man, how does it work?
Almost with human instinct. Controlled by special radio, it can fly like an airship, walk upright like a man, and spread destructions on all sides. Just 10 feet tall, a giant fashioned of steel plates on a maze of wires. Picture it, mynheer. You press a button, turn a switch, and this steel giant hurtles through the air in any direction you may choose. A shipyard, perhaps. There the incendiary bombs he carries in his massive hands will consume everything in flames. A munitions factory, you say? One stick of dynamite, and it is enough. But there is something else. The fear of which I spoke.
Yes?
Imagine, if you can, this towering monster through the streets of the city. Children will scream, women will faint, and strong men will seek shelter.
Where is this Mechanical Man? Why hasn't this government taken it over?
Why? Because they're fools. The use of this monster they regard as inhuman. It is not honorable. In war, there is no honor. But we will take advantage of this stupidity. You will go to the man who has created this steel weapon as a representative of the American government. You will have all the credentials.
When do I start?
In the morning. It's midnight. You'd best retire. There's important work to be done tomorrow. We cannot fail. Heil.
Joined by the one man whose diabolical mind matches his own, Max Heller plots to gain possession of a weapon capable of horror beyond all belief. Will the Yellow Mask, shrewd and cunning, be able to get the Mechanical Man? Who owns this steel monster, and where is it? There's excitement ahead, so don't miss a single episode. Tune in and listen with Superman.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. As the sun blazes fiercely in a sky blacker than the blackest midnight of Earth, and countless brilliant stars gleam on every side, Space Cadets Tom Corbett, Roger Manning, and Astro blast through the void in the rocket cruiser Polaris. They are about to begin a week's leave on the shining planet that already looms in the distance, Astro's home world, Venus.
It won't be long now, Astro. We should be landing in an hour.
Oh, that's swell, Tom. I can hardly wait to get home and see the family again.
I'll bet.
After I say hello to Astro's family, I have some unfinished business.
Yeah, we know. That girl in Venusport.
Mm-hmm. The Venus of Venus. You know, Astro, I can't figure out how the same planet can produce a gal like Gloria and an ape like you. Look, Hotshot, one more blast of your jet gas and I'll throw you right out into space just to see if you could make Venus under your own power.
Venusport, calling rocket cruiser Polaris. Venusport to Polaris.
Hold it a minute, fellas.
Come in, Polaris.
Polaris to Venusport. Cadet Pilot Corbett here. Go ahead.
This is Lieutenant Commander Burke of the Solar Guard. Sorry we didn't catch you while you were further out. Afraid I have a little bad news. Your leave will have to be delayed while you cut over to Mercury.
Leave canceled?
What's the idea?
Unfortunately, the Polaris is the only official ship available to look into a serious situation.
Well, what is it, sir? What's up?
The 2 teams of government scientists have been operating diggers on Mercury's hot side recently in a top-secret project. Had you heard anything about it?
We knew they were there, sir. That's all.
Well, their radio operators kept in constant touch with us from their Twilight Zone base, but a few hours ago he apparently attempted to call and the transmitter suddenly went dead. Normally any break should be repaired by now, so it looks as if they're in serious trouble. Clear so far?
Yes, sir. What are our orders?
You're to proceed to Mercury at once, investigate, and report to us for radio. But use extreme caution or you may be in danger yourselves. Authorities here suspect an outbreak of zero-A fever.
Zero-A fever?
What's that? I've heard of it, sir. Zero-A means zero atmosphere. Space pioneers used to get it on airless planets, but I thought it had been wiped out.
Well, it can't be cured like a disease. This is psychosis. Insanity, like the cabin fever of ancient days that affected small groups cooped up in cramped, isolated quarters. But in zero-A, there's the additional strain of existing in spacesuits or small pressurized bases on a hostile world.
Sir, what happens when a man goes zero-A?
Well, he becomes insane, has hallucinations, usually goes berserk, smashing, killing. Extremely dangerous to his companions and to himself.
Great Jupiter, a maniac in a spot like that.
We'll get there as fast as we can, sir.
That fever isn't catching, is it?
Oh,
you bubblehead. How could it be?
Just a moment. Matter of fact, zero-A may be catching in a sense.
But, sir, if it's mental...
Well, we speak of beyond being catching. That's mental, too. In the case of zero-A, everybody's under the same strain. They're all potential victims. So when one goes, all may go. You understand?
Yes, sir, I certainly do.
Then you also understand why I'm ordering you to be very, very careful. All right. That's it. Blast off for Mercury and spaceman's luck.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Spaceman, there's a lot more to being a space cadet than blasting off on a trip through space. The cadets get plenty of work to do right here on the ground. Tom Corbett and the other cadets have physical training, just like you do. And it's plenty rough. Listen to what Tom Corbett said one day down at the gym.
They sure give you a morning workout around here. If you spacemen have a tough gym class, there are 2 things you can do to make it a lot easier. The first is to go to class on the moon. That's right. You see, the moon's gravity is only 1/3 of the Earth's. So you can run and jump 3 times as far and as high. And the other thing to do, well, that's the best. That's starting your day with a breakfast built around Kellogg's Pep. Pep gives you more builder-upper food values than any other wheat flakes. When you eat Pep, you get a valuable supply of vitamins, vitamin B1 and D, and other food values that help keep you going in high down at the gym. And Pep's food values can help you build up bigger and stronger muscles, too. When you find out what Pep can do for you, and how absolutely swell Kellogg's Pep tastes, you'll start your day the way the Space Cadets do, with a heaping bowl full of Kellogg's Pep.
Well, it's just like Tom Corbett says, Spaceman. Taste that swell, malty-rich flavor. Kellogg's Pep gives you the kind of swell eating that makes you want second helping. With a first spoonful, you'll say, from now on, my cereal is Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Swinging around its orbit like a ball on a string, Mercury keeps the same face wherever turned toward the sun. On one side, it is always glaring day, blazing with a surface temperature of 450 degrees. On the other side, always night, dark and cold as space itself. Only in the narrow band between, the twilight zone, can men establish temporary camps on this airless and unfriendly planet. Now, as the Polaris speeds over the bright side toward the silent twilight zone base, the cadets stare down at the burning land beneath them.
How would you like to have to work down there, Astro?
In that blast furnace? Not me, Tom. I don't see how those scientists do it.
Well, they have mechanical molds. They're diggers, big, powerful machines developed for just this sort of setup. They were first used on the moon.
They're built something like you, Astro. Big and clumsy. All right, wise guy.
Matter of fact, the diggers aren't so clumsy, except when they fly.
Fly? Oh, yeah, they do at that. It doesn't seem possible.
Well, they're no dreamboats, but they are jet-equipped for short flights under low-gravity conditions. And a rough landing doesn't damage them or the people in them.
And they can work on a place like this, huh? Not on it, you Venusian clunk, under it.
He means beneath the surface, Astro. They dig underground and burrow there like moles, protected from the worst of the heat. They can gather tons of rock samples or usable ore that way.
Hey, I wonder what they're looking for here.
Well, no one knows. This seems to be a real hush-hush deal.
Hey, fellas, look down there. Oh, too late.
Well, what was it?
I'm not sure, Tom, but I thought I saw something landing on the surface.
A digger?
Well, not from your description.
Well, what then? A spaceship?
No, it wasn't big enough for that, or even a jet boat. It looked like a man in a spacesuit with body jets.
A man with body jets? It must have been your imagination, Astro. Why, even the Polaris couldn't protect us from the heat for long if we were down there. Okay, guys, get to your stations. We're entering the twilight zone. Now we've got to locate the base, fast, and find out what's happened here. Here's the base. Come on.
Huh. Not much more than a good-sized hut.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be stuck in a place like this for long.
Be careful now. We don't know what we're getting into. It may be all right, but... Uh-oh. What's the matter? Look at the hatches in the pressure compartment.
Great galaxy. Both of them open. That means there's no air inside.
That's bad, fellas. Come on, but watch your step. Lazy comets. What a mess.
Wow, it sure is.
No wonder the transmitter went dead. It smashed to bits.
Everything's smashed. The whole place is wrecked. As though a maniac had been loose.
Yeah. Well, anyway, nobody's here now.
Well, that's all right with me. I wouldn't like to... What are you staring at, Tom?
Someone is here. Look. Over by the bulkhead.
A man. And Tom, he's dead.
Gosh. Well, this man must have been the base operator. He probably kept a log. If we can find it, it might help.
There's some stuff over here in the corner.
Now, let's see. Yes, here it is.
Anything in it?
Apparently, there were only 5 men on this project. The dead operator, Adams, and 4 scientists, divided into 2 teams.
What does it say about today?
That's what I'm looking for. Here it is. Teams started out in diggers at 0800, and Adams made his regular report to Venus. At 8:30, both teams called in to say they were okay. 8:49, Team A said it was moving. Landed a few minutes later, and, hey, listen to this. They started yelling something about giant men.
Giant men?
Uh-huh. Then more shouting and noise, and that was all.
0A fever. That proves it.
That's what Adams and the other team figured, too. Now, let's see. Team B flew to help. Landed at 9:01. And apparently Adams didn't hear any more from them.
Well, what happened to Adams?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to know. Here it is. At 9:15, he wrote that he was going to call Venus unless somebody reported in soon. But then he heard a signal at the outside hatch.
Yeah? And then what?
That's the last entry he made. Evidently, he opened the hatch and... Well, you saw him.
One of the guys on Team A must have gone zero A all of a sudden.
Or maybe both of them. Yes, and there's no telling what happened to them or the other team, or where they are now. Let's see. The log says they landed on Sector T34. There should be a map somewhere.
Oh, right there on the bulkhead behind you.
Oh, yes. T34. Right. Here it is. Now, that's where they were. But somebody was here after that. Wait a minute. Astro, wasn't it around there you thought you saw a man land on the surface? Yeah, just about there. We'd better get up to that sector in a hurry. There may still be something we can do.
Wait a minute. The Polaris is really too fast and big for a job like this.
Sure it is. We'll use the jet boat. Come on.
This sector T34 looks so small on the map, you'd think we could have covered it by now.
We probably could if I didn't have to maneuver this jet boat all over the place to be sure we look into all these mountains and valleys.
While we're practically looking under every rock here, the guys we're looking for may be dying somewhere else.
What else can we do, Roger?
We can't do anything else, but they ought to send more men out from Venus.
How can they? You heard what Commander Burke told us when we called in. With most of their fleet out near Neptune and their last cruiser laid up for repair.
Well, he admitted they still have a destroyer left.
But he has to keep at least one ship on planetary duty. You know that. It's regulation.
Regulations. Why don't you and Burke both go blow your jets? Who cares about it?
Look down there. In that sort of canyon below us.
Where? Oh, yeah. Oh, that must be one of the diggers, huh?
That's what it is, all right.
I'll circle down and get closer.
Hey, there's the other digger. But it's turned over on its back. Why, that's almost impossible the way those things hug the ground.
And they weigh 20 tons. You'd think it would take an earthquake.
Maybe it was an earthquake.
Maybe, but an earthquake didn't call Adams to be killed or dream up the idea about giant men.
They're two of the guys we've been looking for. We're too late to help them.
What do you mean? Where are they?
Lying on the ground right near that overturned digger, almost hidden by it.
Yes, I see. 2 men in spacesuits. Dead?
How could they be alive at that temperature?
Yes, they're dead, Astro. But that still leaves 2 unaccounted for.
There they are. But one of them's alive. He's carrying the body of the other one.
It's impossible.
Well, look there, near the cliff. Only something's wrong. The one that's being carried is so small.
Great galaxy, no, Astro. The body is normal size like the others. But the live one is huge. He must be at least 10 feet tall.
Blazing comets, a giant man. Then those scientists didn't have zero-A fever after all.
Unless maybe we've got it, too.
I'm going down for a closer look.
All right, but don't get too close, will you? He may try to get us, too.
Probably, but we should be safe in this jet boat.
Yeah, and the other guys should have been safe in diggers.
Hey, you can see now he's not just big, he's built all wrong. Even in a spacesuit, a man doesn't look like that.
No, the legs and his arms. Why, look, he has extra arms.
With metal claws on them. Oh, brother, tell me I'm just having a nightmare.
I wish we were. Fellas, did you see that? Well, it turned its head in a complete circle.
Back this way. I think it sees us.
With what? It has no face. There's just a blank surface behind a sort of faceplate.
I'm upping the man's body.
And it's blasting off, flying. Straight for us.
Tom, get out of here in a hurry. That thing's fast as a rocket ship.
Hang on, I'm pouring on. Roger, you get on that radio to Venus. Tell them we need help. In a hurry.
Manning, for heaven's sake, snap out of it. You realize what you're saying?
I sure do, Commander Burke, and it's true.
A giant over 10 feet tall, unharmed by 450-degree temperature, capable of damaging a jet boat?
Sir, he could ruin the jet boat. We wouldn't have a chance. We saw what he did to the diggers.
Manning, can't you understand that no human being could possibly fly as fast as a jet boat?
Human being, whatever this thing is, sir, it sure isn't human.
Manning, what's become of the other members of your unit?
Why, they're here with me in the boat.
Are they? Then put one of them on.
Yes, sir. Here, Tom, talk to him, will you? This is Corbett, sir. Look, I know this is hard to believe back there on Venus, but we have to believe it. It has short legs, thick as tree trunks, no face, and tell him, Astro. 6 arms, sir. On a 6. With things on them.
All right, you all agree. But the Polaris unit has a reputation for pulling tricks. Now, this is a joke. I promise you that you...
Great galaxy, sir, no. Please believe us, this is deadly serious.
Oh, very well. I'm sending you the help you need at once. End transmission. Lieutenant, did you hear that?
I certainly did, sir. Shall I order the destroyer to Mercury?
No, I'll commandeer a freighter. We need the destroyer for planetary duty.
But in a case like this, sir, the destroyer's armed and the freighter isn't. You said you'd send the help they needed.
Exactly. It's not weapons they need. It's medics.
Doctors? But that giant chasing them.
Good heavens, Lieutenant. Don't tell me you believe that insane babble. It's obvious what's happened. Those cadets have gone zero-A.
twilight zone coming up. How are we doing?
Oh, we've gained a little. That thing is nearly 100 yards behind. Is that enough?
I don't know. It depends.
Hey, I spotted the Polaris. East to port. There, you're on the nose.
Right. I'm throwing on the forward jets for a fast stop. All the brakes we can stand. Brace yourselves. We're going down.
Tom, that monster is catching up fast.
I know. We'll be landing in 2 minutes. Right by the ship, I hope. It'll be a rough
Tom,
landing.
look there. Another one of those things driving out from behind the rock.
Great Jupiter, he's cutting between us and the ship.
Right in our path. They've got us trapped.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Spacemen, everybody laughs when they see Mr. Funnyman himself, Bob Hope. Bob Hope is known the world over for being a wonderful comedian. In Paramount Pictures, he's made millions of people laugh. And now you can get a picture of Bob Hope that's good for even more fun. That's right. One of the swell magic eyes you can find in boxes of Kellogg's Pep shows Bob Hope in action. Tilt the magic eye, and Bob Hope starts performing right before your very eyes. You'll see loads of other exciting pictures in the Magic Eye series, too. Planes fly through the clouds. Trains go smoking down the track. And many of your favorite stars of the movies and sports are ready to go into action as soon as you work the Magic Eye. You can get a swell collection together in no time. That's because every time you get a package of Kellogg's Pep, you get a Magic Eye right along with it free at no extra cost. You want a complete set of all 16 Magic Eyes, so don't delay. Start saving Magic Eyes today. If you get doubles, swap them with your friends. That way, you get a complete set even sooner. And remember, every time you get Kellogg's Pep, you get a Magic Eye, too. Don't forget the name of the swell-tasting whole wheat cereal that brings you a Magic Eye free at no extra cost in every package. Ask Mom for Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
In a jet boat rocketing through the airless sky of Mercury, pursued by a huge and powerful monster which is seeking to destroy them, Tom Corbett has strained every nerve to maintain the slight lead which means the difference between life and death to himself and his friends Roger Manning and Astro. But just as it seems they have a chance to reach the comparative safety of the Polaris, another of the giant creatures zooms suddenly into their path, and the cadets are trapped.
Great galaxy, Tom. Climb, climb. It's our only chance. I'm trying to, but I've got speed for a landing, and it's tough to get her up.
Come on, Tom. You can do it. You've got to.
She's coming now. Come on, get that nose up, baby.
That creature in front of us is climbing, too. It's going to meet us head on.
Hold tight. I'm swinging hard aboard.
Look out, Tom. The thing's making a pass at us.
It's got us. We're spinning.
It's all right. I still have control. We're okay for a second.
That was close, Tom. I didn't think you could do it.
I wasn't sure myself, Roger. Lucky that was only a glancing blow and it missed the jet.
If a glancing blow rocked us like that, a real crash will split us wide open.
Tom, here comes another one, diving from behind.
All right. We'll dive, too.
He's following. Getting close.
Look out, Tom. You're going to crash it.
Not quite. Now. Up.
Jumping Jupiter, Tom. I thought you were going right through the ground.
How about the monster that was after us? What happened to it?
It pulled out of the dive just before we did.
I hoped it would keep going and smash up. I can't keep away from both of them forever.
How can they see to maneuver like that? They have no eyes. Their faces are as blank as a radar screen.
Yes, a screen. A screen or a scanner. That's it. They aren't alive. They're robots.
Oh, machines?
Of course. That's why they can do things no human could do. They aren't space suits. They're just metal bodies.
I get it. They have scanners to send back a picture.
Send it back where?
To wherever their owners are sitting out of danger controlling them.
Oh, yeah. Now I see the antennas on their helmets.
Boy, if I can only find the frequency on our receiver. Look, I got an idea.
So have I. But we won't have a chance to try it. Here they come.
One on each side. What can you do, Tom?
Just hold my course and hope.
But they'll crush us between them. Tom, dodge.
Not yet.
They're closing in.
All right, now. Going down.
Just squeezed through and the robots collided.
My trick worked. But they're not damaged. And one of them is bouncing back to us.
It's landed right on top of the jet boat.
Hey, I found one of the frequencies.
Who cares now? Tom, can you shake it off?
No, it's clamped on tight. The weight is sending us into a spin. I can't control the boat. Keep fighting. I'm going to turn on the transmitter. Now, if it's the right one. You've done it, Roger. The robot let go. We're okay.
Drifting away down to the ground. What happened?
I jammed its control frequency with our transmitter. I can keep it out of action now.
Yeah, but what about the other one? It's coming for us again.
I can't handle that one, too.
Maybe I can. Hold your hats, fellas. I'm heading straight into it.
No, Tom, we can't stand a collision with that thing.
Don't talk. This is tricky.
It's suicide.
Show it, and hang on.
We're going to splash. Look out!
We did it! Did what? You nearly killed us. We hit something on that robot.
Sure, the antenna. That's what I was aiming
You
for.
broke it off, Tom. The thing's going down, out of control.
Hey,
we're safe.
Nice going, Junior. We'd better land and put the antenna on the other one in case this transmitter gets weak.
Right. Then we'll get back to the Polaris.
Good. I'll sure be glad to get away from Mercury.
We can't leave, Astro. We'll have to stay here and guard the robots until help comes. Their owners might like to get them back, you know.
Stay here on this crummy planet? Aren't you afraid we'll all go zero-A?
No, Roger. After what we've been through, even zero-A fever would seem like a slight case of sunburn.
Don't miss the next action-packed episode with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Thursday, when the boys again find themselves in terrible danger from the monstrous robots and their human masters. In Part 2 of The Giant of Mercury. Tune in, same time, same station, for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic section of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in the cast are Jan Merlin, Al Markham, and Vinton Hayworth. Today's program was written by Don Hughes, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal, all in one box. And no other raisin brand but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
This program came to you from New York. America is sold on ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. You are traveling east on a cross-country bus, while among your fellow passengers, seemingly innocent and friendly, are a man and a woman who plan to destroy you and 150 million of your countrymen. Listen now as Escape brings you Anthony Ellis's exciting story, Classified Secret.
Nice day.
Yes.
Kids sure know it's spring. Look at him.
I've been watching.
Yeah. Kind of glad, though, I haven't got any.
Oh?
Well, you know, world conditions, things the way they are. Who wants to bring a kid into it?
I suppose so. Do you have a match?
Sure. Here you are.
Thanks. Have you got it? What's the matter?
Well, you don't look the type. I almost hoped you weren't.
Have you got it?
With me? No, but I'll take you to where it is.
All right. The money's in 10s, 20s, and 50s.
In the sack with the groceries?
Mm-hmm. I thought it'd be safer that way.
I guess so. How much?
10,000.
10?
That's what you agreed to.
I said 20.
I was told 10.
They made a mistake then, didn't they? Sorry.
What are you trying to do?
Nothing. Not a thing.
I was told you were with us.
I am, but I get paid for it, too, don't you?
I can't sit here any longer. You might be watched. Will you please give me...
Sorry. It was a misunderstanding.
But...
Unless you want to take me to the head man, maybe he can straighten it out.
I haven't any instructions for that. Where can I reach you?
As of about 2 hours from now, you can't. I'm leaving town.
Will you give us 24 hours? It'll take that long.
I'm sorry. If you can't pay what I want, there's somebody else who will.
I'm going.
So long. I was sitting on a bench in a little park in North Hollywood, California. The early spring sun was warm, and there was a smell of fresh-cut grass. I watched the woman I'd never seen before walk off down the path. She was headed for the avenue, and some cars parked beyond the trees. I thought how nice it would have been if she were just a woman in the park and nothing else. I waited until she was out of sight, and I got up and walked away in the opposite direction. I got the bus at the Hollywood station. I had a train ticket in my pocket, but with the new development, it looked safer to ride the bus. Just before we pulled out, a girl climbed aboard and came down the aisle looking for a seat.
Excuse me, is this number...
18.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, here, let me put your case up.
Well, thank you. I was afraid I was going to miss it.
Yeah, I know how it is. I settled back and watched the city drift away into desert country. As buses go, it was pretty quiet. There was a 4 or 5-year-old kid with his mother a couple of seats forward, but he dozed off almost as soon as he got running. I took a look at the girl sitting next to me, not in the way you might think, but because in my business, you get to learn to look at people. You never know who it might be. She must have felt me watching. She lowered the magazine she was reading.
Would you care to look at one of these?
That's nice of you. I always forget to buy them.
Well, this one's a mystery. I don't usually read them, but on a long trip, they kind of pass the time away.
Yeah, they do. How far are you going?
New York.
That's a long trip, all right.
I'll say. I haven't been back for 10 years. Bet it's changed.
Yeah, I guess so. I read the mystery well into Arizona. When I finished, it was beginning to get dark. The kid up ahead was awake and hungry. There was a feeling of expectation on the bus as we drove into the first night of travel.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, Yes, it was fine. Thanks a lot.
What was it about?
Spies. Real exciting.
I like spy movies sometimes. I think they do so many of them. You read about it in the papers all the time. I don't know. I think people would get sick of it.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Well, they're exciting, like you say. I bet it isn't really like that.
I doubt it. Say, my name's Charlie. Charlie Rader.
Oh, how do you do? I'm Julie Spaulding.
Hi.
That kid sounds as hungry as I am.
Yeah, we ought to be stopping soon.
Yeah, I hope so.
About 15 minutes later, we pulled up at a restaurant terminal and went in for food. I watched for any new passengers who might be getting on. I didn't see anybody, and as soon as I'd finished my sandwich and coffee, I sent a telegram to New York and then got back on the bus. The girl, Julie, and I seemed to be hitting it off, and it was pleasant enough to pass the time. After we got rolling, the kid up ahead decided to sing himself to sleep. It was like a crooning over and over again, the same song, the same few notes. I guess it put everybody else to sleep except him.
Makes you sleepy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Reminds me of when I was a kid. I used to do that. Kids are funny.
How?
Well, I don't know. I'm going back to New York for my sister's wedding. She's getting married next week. She says she wants lots of kids. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Mind if I ask you something?
No, I don't mind. What?
Are you married?
No.
I don't mean it the way it sounds. I'm always interested in trying to guess about people. Now, I would have figured you were a married man with maybe 2 or 3 kids.
No, I'm not married.
No. I hope you don't think I'm nosy.
No.
Well, that kid singing fixed me. I'm going to take a nap. Good night, Charlie.
Good night. I must have dropped off, too. When I woke up, she had her head on my shoulder. A lock of her hair was falling over her closed eyes. And then I knew something was different on the bus. Somebody on the other side of the aisle, watching.
Excuse me, mister. If you got a match, I'm clean out.
Sure. Just a minute. Here you are.
Thanks.
No, keep them.
Oh, fine. Thanks a lot.
Say, have you got any idea where we are?
I'm not sure. I got on at Flagstaff an hour or so back. Oh, boy, I envy her. I wish I could sleep like that. Your wife?
No.
Oh, say, that's rude. Taking your matches and not offering you a cigarette.
Oh, that's okay. No, I don't want one now, thanks.
Say, I want to tell you something. There's a lady in the seat behind you. I think you've met her before in the park. Right? We brought her with us to identify you. But she gave us a pretty good description back in L.A.
Good for her.
Well, this is going to be a nice trip. Nothing like traveling with people you know, is there?
Nothing like it.
I don't suppose you've got any reading material you could let me look at.
How about a mystery? It's a spy story. Pretty good.
No, I was
thinking of something else. I think you know. Something more scientific. I'm very interested in airplanes. Jet motors.
Sorry. He looked across at me, smiling, pleasant. And anybody watching, it was nothing more than the casual conversation of two strangers brought together by the night and sympathy of loneliness. And he leaned back and, reaching inside his jacket, brought out a small automatic, which he kept very carefully hidden from any eyes but mine.
Always carry this with me on a trip. You never know.
I knew, all right. If they couldn't buy what they wanted, there were other ways. That's what he was telling me. And I saw in the man's smiling face that I'd never reach New York unless I killed them before they killed me.
We will return to Escape in just a moment, but first, the program that follows tonight's story of Escape is a special repeat broadcast of CBS Radio's hard-hitting drama, Bomb Target USA, with Arthur Godfrey as narrator and a corps of crack CBS Radio newsmen reporting from spotter locations and from so-called enemy bombing squadrons approaching our shores. Bomb Target USA reports factually and without fanfare exactly what America can expect today if enemy atomic bombers raided our major cities. Immediately following Escape tonight, on most of these same CBS radio stations, keep tuned for Bomb Target USA. And now, back to Escape.
Julie and I had breakfast somewhere in New Mexico. The woman from the park and the man who carried the small automatic sat in the booth while we ate at the counter. I'd thought about things most of the night, and I decided to tell the girl. Not too much, but enough so that she might be able to help. And I knew I'd need some help.
Coffee's pretty good here.
Yeah. Cigarette?
No, thanks.
Julie?
Yes?
I want to tell you something.
Oh?
I don't want you to turn around and look. Just pretend we're talking about the weather, coffee, or anything, but listen.
Well, sure, Charlie.
There's a couple sitting in the booth behind us. They're spies.
Hmm? Oh, you...
I'm not kidding. I can't tell you much, but as you love your life, you'll believe me.
You're kidding. Spies?
Don't turn around. Smile. Just listen.
But
They're trying to get hold of the plans for a new jet motor. It's faster than anything anybody else has got.
You are kidding.
No, I'm not.
How do you know? What do you know about it?
I'm working for the government.
FBI?
In a way. Now, I need you to help me.
Me?
They think I've got the blueprints, the plans, and they're going to try and get them from me.
But can't we get the police?
No.
Well, why?
Because we're trying to get the head man. And if those two are arrested, we'll have to start all over again. They think I'm working with them. But I got tough about the money they offered, so now they're going to try and get rid of me and get the secret for nothing.
Did they follow you from Los Angeles?
Yes, they got on during the night in Flagstaff.
All right, I don't see. Well,
just stick with me. I'll explain at the next stop. We can't talk about it on the bus because she's sitting right behind and he's across the aisle.
Listen, are you pulling my... No. No, you're not, are you?
I'm not. We went on through New Mexico and the pink rock and the desert. We talked a lot of nonsense, and after a while I could see she was getting back to the idea that I'd been kidding, especially after the man with the gun introduced himself as Mr. Hutchinson and started to talk about fishing. It was about a half hour before our lunch stop.
Now, you take some of that Northern California country. Talk about trout.
Steelhead. I tell you,
My
you
dad
have never
used to
seen...
take us up, my sister and me.
Oh?
Take us up to a place in Maine.
Oh.
Dad always wanted a couple of boys, I guess, but when he saw what he got, he figured it wouldn't spoil his plans anyway. So he took us fishing every summer. You should have seen the fishing up there.
I'd like to. Someday. I'd like that. How about you, Mr. Rader? Do you like fishing?
No, not much.
Did you ever try it?
A little when I was a kid.
You ought to take it up again. If you have time.
Yes, I might do that.
If a man had a little money put away, he could do a lot of fishing. That's the way to live. Have about $10,000, go all over the country fishing, no work, no worries. How does that sound, Miss Spaulding?
Oh, what a life.
It'd take more than 10,000.
Oh, I don't know. 10's better than nothing.
$10,000? Why, you could...
They went on talking, and I did some thinking. He was smarter than I'd thought. Looked like a nice, average guy and behaved like one. That's one thing I'd learned. The more ordinary you can be, the less you're going to be suspected, and these people had it down to a science. It wasn't going to be easy because I was going to have to convince Julie all over again. I could see that. My chance didn't come until that evening after our dinner stop. By that time, the woman in the park, who went by the name of Lisa Nyland, Hutchinson, the girl, and myself, all four of us were buddies. We'd pulled up over the Colorado border. There was some kind of trouble up ahead, a slide or a wreck. And the driver told us we'd have a half hour or so before we went on.
You want to take a walk for a while? There's a cafe a couple of 100 yards back. I'll give you a call when we're ready to move on. Oh, kind of nice to have an extra leg stretch. How about some coffee?
That'd be nice. Charlie?
Oh, I don't know. I'd like to have a look at the valley down there. We might walk up the dirt road away and get a pretty good view. Sunset and all.
Romantic, huh?
Sure. Why not?
Oh, Charlie.
Okay with you, Lisa? You feel romantic? Want to see a valley in the sunset?
That'd be very nice.
Okay, let's go.
We walked away from the bus and up a narrow ranch road. About 100 yards up, there was a curve and around to the stand of trees. When we got there, you couldn't hear the sounds from the highway any longer. It was peaceful and it was very pretty. I knew that Hutchinson was delighted about the suggestion. It was going to give him his chance, but he made the mistake of playing it a little too clever. And he kept his game of small talk going a minute too long. We got to the top of a cliff overlooking the valley when I stumbled on a rock and fell a few steps behind before they had a chance to stop. And when they did, I already had my gun out.
Hey, what are you going to do? Target practice?
No. Julie, get over here. You two, stay where you are and keep your hands behind your head.
Charlie, are you sure they seem to...
I know what they seem. Now, look, I don't want to do this, but it's you or me. You should have made the right deal in the first place. I can't let you go, you know that.
We might still make a deal.
You had your chance.
We've got the 10,000. How about waiting till we get to the next town? We'll have the rest of it telegraphed.
I make mistakes, but not that kind.
If you told us what you wanted, we might have been able to get the 20,000 for you in Los Angeles.
Turn around, both of you.
Oh, now, wait a minute. We're all in this together. We all want the same thing. You figure you can get more money from the head man in the East. Okay. Give us a chance to get it for you. We're in contact.
Turn around.
He gives us our orders. What difference does it make? Now, look, you shoot us. What do you think they'll do? They won't let you get away with it. They'll kill you.
Charlie, you can't just shoot them. Turn them over to the police. You can't just shoot them.
He can't tell the police, Julie. He's with us. Only he wants money out of it. And he thinks he'll get more from the head man in the East.
Turn around. I'm not going to say it again.
Charlie, don't. I know you've got a duty, but you can arrest them. Please, you can...
I told you to be quiet.
Arrest? Listen, Raider, you're not going to kill us over 10,000. Why, it's murder, even if you...
Miss Nyland dropped without a sound. Hutchinson held his middle for a second and tried to keep his balance. I shot him in the back of the head. I knew he was dead before his body slipped to the ground. The girl just stood next to me, her hands tightly covering her mouth, and she was shivering. I took a look across the wide valley. The sky was turning purple.
I've never seen anybody killed before.
I'm sorry.
Couldn't you have arrested them or something? Couldn't you? Did you have to?
I had to. They wouldn't have stopped at killing both of us if they'd had the chance.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do now?
I've got to get the money for evidence.
What are you going to tell the driver? You'll ask where they are. Charlie? Driver's going to wonder where they are. Charlie, what are you doing?
I've got to put them over the cliff.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I've got to.
Oh, no. No, you can't. Charlie, no.
All right. Come on. We got back to the bus, and neither of us said anything about the two we'd walked off with. I guess nobody had seen us together, and after waiting around for another half hour, the driver gave up.
Well, I'll drop the baggage in La Junta. Better notify the police, too.
Screwy, all right.
Okay, folks. Sorry for the delay. You better go back to your seat, mister.
Sure. I was starved when we pulled into the depot at La Junta. I'd already made up my mind to lay over and take a detour on another bus. The girl wasn't going to be able to keep quiet much longer, and I had to get rid of her. We got out of the bus, and the two men were standing alongside, waiting.
Just a minute, please.
Hmm?
We're special agents for the FBI. Searching, Larry.
Well, just a gun and money.
Where are the other two?
The other two?
They're dead. He killed them.
Oh. We'll take those plans now, Mr. Rader. And don't do anything silly. There are 4 men covering you.
Okay. It's in my shoe. You want me to take it off now?
Please.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Rader. This isn't worth anything, really, you know. We planted it in the factory in L.A. for someone to steal. What we wanted was to be led to the top man in New York. And when you sent that wire to him back in Arizona, we got him.
Oh.
We were worried about you, Julie, when you didn't call us from Albuquerque.
I didn't get a chance. He was with me all the time.
Is she? Is she... Are you playing spy, too, Julie?
I'm working for the government, Mr. Rader.
She's been following you since you stole the plans.
Well, you fooled me. I bet you fooled Hutchinson and Nyland, too. It won't matter to them, though, will it? Well, that's the way it goes.
Take him away, will you? I had to watch him murder those two. I don't want to hear him laugh about it.
Come on, Rader. We've got a car waiting.
Sure. So long, Julie. Nice to have met you.
Escape has brought you Classified Secret, written and directed by Anthony Ellis, starring Parley Bear. Featured in the cast were Charlotte Lawrence, Peter Leeds, Miriam Crucian, Tim Graham, Leroy Leonard, and Georgia Ellis. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are in a cantina in Mexico, listening to a man speak his hate for you in word and music, while somewhere, in jeopardy without your knowledge and beyond your reach, is the one you love, who may lose her life for the man who sits across the table hating you is the only one who can save her.
So listen next week when Escape brings you E. Jack Newman's exciting story, El Guitarrero. Tomorrow night, the Lux Radio Theater stars Jane Wyman and Dick Haymes. The play is Just for You, with Jane recreating her original screen role. It's a musical comedy about a widowed Broadway play producer who loves his star and faces complications in the reactions of his son and daughter. Just for You, Lux Radio Theater presents the stellar co-starring combination Jane Wyman and Dick Haymes tomorrow night on most of these same CBS radio stations. The same evening, CBS Radio stars Fred McMurray in Suspense's saga of The Great Train Robbery. That's tomorrow night at the Star's address. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, you have a date with Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts Monday evening on the CBS Radio Network.
Rice Chex and Sweet Chex, the bite-sized cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz is trying to rescue Happy from a cavern on Neptune. As he hurries toward the Cadet, a strange sound echoes in the cavern.
Hap, what's that?
Just one of Polidor's tricks. He's trying to scare us with sound.
Sorry. You're only a few yards from the Cadet, and I am on another planet. But what? You'll never reach him.
Commander, look out! The gate's closing!
Happy!
It's no use, Commander. You're both my prisoners.
We'll be back in a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, The Cavern of Fear.
Cadet Happy!
Yeah?
Cadet Happy!
Yeah? Who's there? Oh, smoking rockets. It's a walking, talking totem pole.
Nope, no totem pole. Me, wearing all three of my Man from Mars totem heads, stacked one on top of the other.
Space Patroller with all these totem heads, you look about 8 feet tall.
And I could see you, and you couldn't see me. That's magic forward vision. And every totem head has a special secret vision place that lets you see out, but nobody see in.
Say, gang, have you got any of these king totem heads yet? They're more than 12 inches high from head to shoulders. Your identity is a complete secret. And those neat colors, red and yellow, green and black. A weird face in front with fang teeth, flop ears, and a beak-like nose. Got a fantastic face in back, too. Put it on, and you're coming and going at the same time. Remember, with your totem head, you can see out, but nobody else can see in.
That's magic forward vision.
Man, oh man, it's terrific. Get a lot of totem heads, and you can be a walking, talking totem pole. Like my pal here. It's easy to get him, too. And send for yours today.
For every Man from Mars totem head you want, send a Rice Chex or Wheat Chex box top, together with your name and address and 25 cents in coin to Space Patrol, Box 6 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Don't forget your 25 cents. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Now today's Space Patrol adventure, the Cavern of Fear. Exactly 7 minutes after the report of the robbery, Commander Corey and Cadet Happy were in Division A of the Express Office of the Paris Police Force. That anyone could successfully carry off a robbery in Division A was incredible. For 15 years, Sam Grady had observed the formal security regulations as chief agent of Division A, observed them faithfully, but without the slightest suspicion that anyone would dare to violate them. Yet here is Sam Grady, his head still throbbing from an aching blow, face to face with the commander-in-chief of the Space Patrol, trying to explain a robbery that just couldn't happen.
All right, Grady, let's go over it once more. Everything was all right at your check-in time at 2200 hours. You came in here and opened the safe.
That's right, Commander. I took the package of Zyklon pistols out of the safe.
All right. You had the package. You closed the safe. You checked the code book.
I started out of this room to give the package to Lieutenant Briggs. As I got to the door, I heard this voice.
A voice here in the room?
Yes, it was a big boom voice.
What did the voice say? Do you recall?
Well, this doesn't make sense, but I thought it said, "Have you forgotten something?" It was a thought that might have been in my own mind at the time. I'm very conscious of security regulations, you know, so I turned back.
Did you see anyone?
Not then. But as I walked back toward the safe, I was suddenly aware of a movement behind me. It seemed like there were 2 men in the room, and as I turned, one of them slugged me. That's all I remembered until I heard the officer in charge standing over me, shaking me.
And by then, these men had disappeared with the Zyklon crystals.
Yes.
Well, Commander, this voice booming, it sure sounds like Polidor to me.
Polidor?
He's behind several major robberies. By some means, he's able to project his voice to direct members of his gang. Whatever this device is, it enables Polidor to see and hear as well as project his voice. Unless we grant Polidor magic powers, this device has to be planted at the scene of crime by human agents.
I don't see how any device could be hidden in here, in Division A. And yet that voice, it was so full and powerful.
I'll check behind these files, Commander. Maybe there's
just a minute, Happy. Come here.
Yes, sir?
What's that on your shoulder, that white powder?
Smoking rockets, and I just had this uniform
Wait, don't brush it off. Whatever it is must have dropped in your Phoenix since we came in this room. Grady, I want you to come along with us to headquarters for a brainograph test.
Well, sure, Commander. I'll do anything I can to cooperate.
We'll get to the lab, have that powder in the uniform analyzed. Maybe it's a clue to pull it on, maybe not. We won't know until we grab it, our date.
Date?
I'll tell you about it later. Come on, let's get to headquarters.
Far out in space, a private cruiser races away from the man-made planet Terra. Turning from the controls, the pilot tunes the space patrol into a rarely used frequency. Adjusts the scrambler circuit and beams the signal into space.
Vortex aboard cruiser S-713 calling Polidor. Vortex to Polidor. Vortex calling Polidor.
Polidor here. Go ahead.
Zyklon crystals are aboard. Francis is still on Terra. Make your direction.
Good. The express clerk will not be invited by us. I was due then, but it was being questioned by Inspector Corey.
Oh, then Grady recovered all right?
Yes. Corey is going to give him a brainograph test. But don't worry.
What about the detectoscope button?
It's destroyed. Reduce the powder.
That'll leave Corey with another mystery on his hands.
Yes. Wojciech, you will proceed to Neptune as directed.
Sure, Polidor.
Hold the Zyklon crystals at the cavern until I contact you. Hold it or out.
In Commander Corey's central office at Space Patrol headquarters, Buzz and Happy are examining the results of the brainograph test on Sam Grady, express agent of Division A.
Well, one thing's sure. Grady wasn't in on the job.
No, everything he told us was the truth. He wasn't even guilty of carelessness.
Polidor's men had everything figured down to the last detail. Say, Commander, what about that powder on my jacket?
The lab's still working on it, but I have a preliminary report. Powder's composed of several different elements, materials that might be used in electronics equipment.
Then Polidor must have had some gadget fastened to the ceiling. The gadget he projects his voice from.
Mm-hmm. Also, it apparently acts as a viewscope and sound detector as well as a reproducer.
It sure must be a compact device. Judging from the amount of powder, the whole thing couldn't have been much larger than a coin.
Well, some of the material may have been completely vaporized. Or telling your jacket was just gas.
Yeah, but how was it destroyed?
Possibly by vibration. And Polidor heard me tell you to search the room. He may have transmitted a frequency that precipitated the device.
I'd sure like to know who planted it then.
Say, back in Division A, you mentioned something about a trap for Polydor. How are you going to work it?
Already in operation, Pat. A group of businessmen are holding an important meeting in the green room at the Terra Hotel. Discussing a financial matter I'm sure Polydor will be very interested in. The shipment of 1 million credits to the Saturn Trust Company.
The green room? But that's supposed to be spy-proof.
Exactly. Behind the walls, floor, and ceiling is an electronic jamming device that would garble any recording or secret technique.
Even this gadget of Polydor's?
If Polydor succeeded in planting his gadget in the green room, it would be working. Have the jamming device disconnected. Polydor will hear everything that goes on in that room.
How can we be sure that he heard about the meeting?
I've arranged for some carefully planted leaks. If Polydor's spy setup, he should have picked up our planted information.
1 million credit bait. That ought to lead Polydor into a trap, all right.
It's nearly 1,400 hours, Pat. The meeting in the green room ought to be breaking up soon. When everyone leaves, we'll search the conference room.
On the top floor of the luxurious Terra Hotel, Buzz and Happy wait unobtrusively at the end of the corridor as 10 important business leaders file out of the green room. As the group steps into an elevator, Buzz touches Happy's arm.
It's clear, Hap. Come on.
Commander, I think that last man saw us. I'm pretty sure he recognized you.
I know he did, Hap. That was Nelson Kettering, chairman of the meeting. He's the only man in that group who knows we're setting a trap for Polydor. Go on in, Hap.
Hey, this is some room. Look at the size of that conference table.
We'll check this switch, and we'll search the room.
Switch?
The protective system was turned off during the meeting. To give Polydor an earful, and when Kettering left, he turned it on.
Oh, I get it. So Polydor couldn't hear us or see us while we're searching the room.
We'll start a systematic search. We'll check every square inch of the walls and ceiling.
It'd be pretty hard to conceal anything in this room. The walls are smooth and plain.
Hap, look up at the ceiling. You see anything up there?
No, sir.
Look close, right in the center, directly over the table.
I still don't see. Oh, yeah. A small round thing. I can barely make it out.
You put one of these chairs on the table, have you? You can get a closer look.
Sure, sir.
Here, I'll give you a boost.
Something like a large button. You want me to see if I can pry it loose?
Here, take this metal box. It's electronically shielded like the conference room. If you get that button down, drop it in the box.
Yes, sir.
Now hold the box right under it so the gadget will remain in a strong shielding field.
It's coming loose, Commander. I got it.
Hand me the box, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. Get back to headquarters and have the lab analyze this thing. You get to headquarters, we'll have a checkmate on everybody here at the hotel who has access to the conference room.
Yeah. Might give us a lead on who planted that gadget.
Help! Help! Gentlemen, can you help me?
What's the trouble?
It's my partner. I was sent up here to help him clean one of the rooms. There he was, laying on the floor of the janitor's supply room. I'll pull.
Come on, Hap.
Must have dropped a bottle of cleaning solvent. The fumes got him. Here, right in here. See, there he is.
Wow. No wonder he passed out. That stuff burns my lungs.
I hope we're not too late.
You hold the door open. Hap, let's drag him out in the corridor where he can get some fresh air.
Yes, sir. I'll take his feet, Commander.
I ask you to hold that door open.
Get your hands up, both of you.
Uh-oh, Commander.
Isn't a ray gun rather odd equipment for a janitor to carry?
I cut the chatter. Hand over what you took out of the conference room.
What makes you think we took anything out of the room?
I watched you go in and I watched you come out. Now hand over that box. Come on, or you'll get what that guy got.
All right. Here you are.
Being smart, Cole. Now don't try anything. I'm watching. Take a look in this box. Well, you found it, huh? Thanks, Cole. You saved me a lot of trouble. I just put the detectoscope button in my pocket.
Wait, Blanchard. Hold the button out.
Polydor.
Well, Corey and the Cadet.
They found a button in the conference room, Polydor.
Where are you now?
In the janitor's supply room of the Terra Hotel. We took care of the real janitor with the ray gun and borrowed a spare uniform from his locker.
Blanchard.
Yes, Polydor.
You're on the top floor of the Terra Hotel?
Yeah.
Good. I know there's a window in the rear of the room. Use the ray gun on Corey and the Cadet. Then shove them out the window. A 30-story drop, Commander. And you'll be out of my life for good.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment.
A spook
from outer space. Or an Indian from a reservation on Mars. Or a mystery man from another solar system. Yes, sir, Space Patroller. You could be any one of those weird characters when you're wearing a Man from Mars totem head with Magic Forehead Vision. That's the special secret vision plate every totem head comes equipped with. So you can see out, but nobody else can see in or know who's wearing the Man from Mars totem head. And to make sure your identity is a complete secret, it's more than 12 inches high. Colors that are out of this world. Red and yellow, green and black. Remember, you see out. Nobody sees in with Magic Forehead Vision. Fantastic fun. You can have it with a Man from Mars totem head. Get one. Get as many as you like and wear them all. Stacked one on top of the other. For every totem head you want, send a rice check or wheat check box top, together with your name and address and 25 cents in coins to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Don't forget your 25 cents. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Offered good only in the USA and may be withdrawn at any time. Now, back to our Space Patrol adventure, the Cavern of Fear. Buzz and Happy have been lured into a janitor's supply room on the top floor of the Terra Hotel by Blanchard, one of Polidor's confederates. Holding the Space Patrollers at gunpoint, Blanchard removed the detectascope button from a shielded box, enabling Polidor in some remote and unknown place of security to see and hear everything in the room. Polidor has ordered Blanchard to use the ray gun on Buzz and Happy, and then thrust their unconscious forms through the window 30 floors above the street.
All right, Corey. You heard what Polidor said. I think I'll take care of you first.
You're making a mistake, Blanchard. Why should you run all the risks, do Polidor's dirty work?
Go on, Blanchard. He's just calling. Let him have it.
Okay, Polidor. What's that?
It's just the intercom on the wall. Blanchard, look out!
I'll take that gun, Blanchard.
Hey, that was a beauty, Commander.
Here's Blanchard's ray gun. Now, where's that detectascope?
Well, Blanchard had it in his left hand. It's probably clenched in his fist.
I'll get it. It's too late.
Nothing but fine powder.
Polidor set off a disintegrator impulse when he saw his boy was in a jam. Pap, I'll answer the intercom. You check in the real janitor. I think he's starting to come around. We'll take Blanchard to headquarters.
By the time Blanchard is brought into Commander Corey's office at headquarters, he has expressed himself as being willing to cooperate. He sits rubbing his bruised jaw as Buzz questions him.
Okay, Blanchard. Have you ever seen this Polidor?
No. I don't know of anybody who has.
Can you give me the names of any of Polidor's agents? You might as well tell me now, Blanchard. We can put you under the brainograph, you know.
All right, I'll tell you. I only know one of them, Pete Vorchek. I worked with him once.
Where's Vorchek now?
I don't know. He split up after a job at the express office.
Oh, the Zyklon theft.
Vorchek had his special orders. I had mine. But wait. But Vorchek and I got pretty chummy. He told me a couple of things I wasn't supposed to know about the cavern.
What cavern?
It's a place on Neptune, Sector 17K. Vorchek was supposed to go to the cavern with the Zyklon.
And meet Polidor there, maybe?
Yeah, I doubt it. Nobody ever meets Polidor, except probably one or two of the higher-ups.
This cavern on Neptune, how many men are there?
Probably just Vorchek now. Polidor doesn't like the boys to get together and compare notes. Unless
what?
Unless he's got somebody in the Cavern of Fear.
Cavern of Fear?
Well, maybe Vorchek was pulling my leg. The Cavern of Fear is supposed to be a place Polidor uses to throw a scare into wise guys that get out of line. Part of the cavern is cold and damp and pitch dark. The icy water drips from the walls. Polidor had these detectascopes hidden around, and hour after hour, these horrible noises boom around in the cavern. Vorchek says he's seen some pretty brave guys go nearly out of their minds.
Vorchek is there. He'll be contacted by Polidor. Blanchard, can you tell me exactly where this cavern is?
Well, if I could see a map of Neptune, I think I could. Vorchek mentioned a couple of landmarks.
Ran too close. Vorchek could see the ship and warn Polidor.
Well, Commander, if one man were to be dropped off a couple miles away in a spacesuit, he might find out quite a bit.
if you were discovered.
Well, I think I could do a little scouting without being caught, sir. Please, sir. And I could keep in contact with you in the ship on a secret frequency.
All right. But remember, you're volunteering as a scout and not as a one-man assault force. Turn Blanchard over to the guard. We'll blast off for Neptune.
In a remote, mountainous region of the planet Neptune, Heat Vorchek advances the heat regulator in a sealed-off section of a system of caverns. Then goes to a spaceophone transmitter and adjusts the controls.
Pete Vorchek at Neptune Station calling Polidor. Vorchek to Polidor.
Polidor here. I was about to call you, Vorchek.
I was beginning to think you'd forgotten about me. When do I get away from here?
I've had my hands full with Commander Corey. He captured one of my men, Blanchard.
Blanchard?
Yes, but there is no need to worry. Blanchard knows nothing that can lead Corey to me or to you. Isn't it right?
Yes. Yes, of course.
Corey, however, is getting to be a problem. He discovered one of my detectoscopes. Had his hand on it for a few minutes before I was able to destroy it. We shall have to be more careful in hiding them after this. Oh, you will remain where you are until I eliminate Corey.
But Polidor...
It won't be very long. Let me tell you. Corey doesn't know it, but pride
Far to the east, the Terra 5 circles over the mountains of Neptune. Alone in the ship, Commander Corey sets the spaceophone receiver to a secret space patrol frequency. Anxiously, Buzz waits. And then...
That Happy calling Commander Corey aboard Terra 5.
Corey here. Go ahead, Hap.
Blanchard's tip is on the level, sir. I've located the entrance to Polidor's cavern.
Any sign of life?
Not yet. Except for the airlock in the cavern opening. It looks like any other mountain in this part of Neptune.
Don't take any chance of being seen.
I'm a good mile from the cavern, sir, hiding behind some rocks. But with these binoculars, the airlock looks only about 20 feet away.
Where you stand, how close can I land the ship without tipping off Vorchek if he's in the cavern?
Well, there's a ridge to the north about 2 miles from here. If you could set down behind that, you'd be okay.
All right, Hap, I'll join you. Give me your exact location.
As Happy crouches behind the rock, watching the cavern entrance, he's unaware of the tread of heavy space boots behind him. As Happy looks northward for a glimpse of the Terra 5, a man in a spacesuit steps up behind him with blast gun in hand.
Get your hands up, Cadet, and away from the spaceophone control.
Where did you come from?
The cavern over there. You were watching the wrong entrance.
You're Vorchek, then?
That's right. You're waiting for Commander Corey.
Suppose you picked up our secret frequency.
Oh, no. Simpler than that. What if Polidor's men managed to plant a detectoscope in the Terra 5? Polidor heard the commander talking to you and tipped me off. Forget it.
Now, look, the commander will be landing in a few minutes, and if you know what's good
I'll
for you...
take care of him later. Polidor wants me to make you comfortable in the Cavern of Fear. Now start walking.
Entering the airlock, Happy is forced to walk for hundreds of yards through the winding passage of the cavern. Vorchek has opened the facepiece of Happy's spacesuit, and the cadet can smell the cold, dank air of the cavern. The rocky walls glisten with a greasy wetness in the beams of Vorchek's atomolite. Suddenly, Happy finds himself in total darkness and is aware that he is alone.
Hey, Vorchek, where are you? Vorchek, what happened to the light? Hey! Smoking rockets. A wild animal. And me in the dark without a gun. It's coming closer.
Are you frightened, Cadet?
Polidor. Well, that's a relief.
A relief?
Well, sure. Now I know there's no wild animal in the cavern. That roar was just a sound effect projected here the way your voice is, by your detectoscopes.
Quite logical. However, you can be quite sure, can you?
What do you mean?
I am far away on another planet, but you can be certain just what might be in this cavern. Listen. Some animal may be creeping closer, its claws scraping the rough rocks.
Sure. Let's hear some more of your sound effects, Polidor. Put on a show for me.
You are brave now, but wait a few hours. The darkness will have its effect on your reason. Your senses will play tricks on you. Your imagination will get out of control. And for the first time in your life, you will know pure terror.
Landing the Terra 5 and not finding Happy, Commander Corey has made his way to the cavern searching for the cadet. Cautiously, he makes his way through the winding passage with the aid of an atomolite. Occasionally from the blackness ahead come strange sounds.
Oh, shut up. Happy! Happy, where are you? Commander, I see your light. I'm back here.
I'm coming, Hap. What's that?
Oh, just one of Polidor's tricks. He's trying to scare us with sound.
Hurry. You're only a few yards from the Cadet, and I am on another planet. But watch. You'll never reach him.
Commander, look out. The gate's closing.
Happy! It's no use, Commander. The Cadet is locked behind the gate, and Vorchek will see that you don't escape.
Look, Polidor, there'll be a squadron of Space Patrol ships here looking for us.
Let them come. Vorchek will be gone when the Zyklons are full. And, of course, I am here in voice only.
This whole section of Neptune is being watched right now. Your man Vorchek can't get through that patrol.
Thank you, Commander. He can't escape in his ship, but he can in yours.
Not unless I'm in it. The controls are locked, and only Happy and I can operate them.
Oh, well, I don't mind losing Vorchek and the Zyklon if I can do away with you and the Cadet. Vorchek can risk being shot down by your patrol ships if he likes.
I'm right behind you with the blaster, Corey, so get him up. Well, Vorchek, you've been getting an earful, huh?
Yes. You're going to get me out of here, Corey.
Vorchek, don't be a fool. It's a trick.
Maybe, Polidor. I know where I stand with you now. Come on, Corey, let's go.
Just a minute. Open the gate and let the Cadet out.
Let him stay in here. I can't watch both of you.
You leave him here alone in this cavern?
Maybe Polidor will talk to him during his final hours. Come on, Corey, let's get out of here. You go first.
All right. That's the way you want it. Had enough? On your feet.
Sure.
Now open that gate, Vorchek.
Take it easy. He's only kidding. Here's the control back at this shelf of rock.
Commander!
You okay, Hap?
Oh, yeah. Oh, great. Hey, you've got Vorchek.
He's riding back with us. Too bad we can't include Polidor. Did he give you a rough time?
Well, he sure did. I didn't mind the bats and the leopards, but one sound really had me scared. I figured I was really off my rocker.
What was it?
Well, it was so real I could almost feel it rubbing up against me, even through my spacesuit.
Rattlesnake?
No, it was... I thought I heard it again. Just now.
Look down at your feet, Hap.
It's smoking rockets. A kitten. And it's real.
Hap, don't tell me you're afraid of cats.
Oh, no, sir. Not when they're real. But these imaginary cats that aren't there, I can't stand the sight of them.
In just a moment, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure, which will be brought to you by Nestle's Quick, for the greatest tasting chocolate milk and those famous Nestle's chocolate bars. Who is the man from Mars? Who's in that weird, spooky totem head with a face in front and another in back? Fellas and girls, it can be you. Yes, you can have this sensational totem head with magic forehead vision. Imagine, when you wear your totem head, you can see out, but nobody can see in. That's right. Magic forehead vision works only for you. When you're in that totem head, you can fool your best friend. Even your mom won't know it's you. It's easy to get your totem head because you drink that super wonderful, extra delicious Nestle's Quick, don't you? Sure. You know Quick makes the best chocolate milk in the universe. Well, just send the lid from the can of Nestle's Quick or a tracing of the front of the label, together with your name and address and 25 cents to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. That address again, Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. You'll get your totem head soon, so you can be the man from Mars. Now a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are aboard the Terra 5, preparing to fight off an attacking robot ship.
Fire stern torpedo 1.
Fire 1.
Surely you don't think I'm aboard this robot ship, Commander?
In a few seconds, Polidor, there won't be any ship. Hey, Commander, the torpedo exploded short of the target.
The ship is protected by a force field. Our torpedoes explode when they hit the field.
That's right. You can't stop this robot ship.
It's gaining on us, sir.
If we don't act quickly, it'll ram us and blow us to bits.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, Race Against Time. Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson. Executive producer, Mike Dever. Other players were Norman Jolly, Ken Mayer, and Bela Kovac. George Barclay speaking. Don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday for exciting adventure on Space Patrol! Space Patrol was brought to you today by Rice Chex and Wheat Chex, the bite-sized cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages. Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your newspaper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.